We don't really get it over here.
It's so good. It's delicious. One hit and you
all right.
like a champ.
Hello. Welcome everyone to the Hex Happy Hour Show. How's everybody doing tonight? We have Big K. Wait, I gotta get my angles right. There we go. Okay. Crypto Vince. David Feeder. Below me is Josh Deep. And one Hexy Bastard from across the pond making his happy hour debut.
Hello, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Beautiful to be here, man.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Well,
cheers, everyone. By the way, we already did one of these, but
okay, yeah, let's
go drink.
do one of these.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Happy Friday.
I'm a little late to the happy hour. I gotta grab a drink.
Oh yeah, it is happy hour. Come on now. So.
Let me go grab a drink real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
No matter where you are in the world, it's happy hour.
5 o'clock somewhere. So, yeah.
That's
Right here.
I think we're live on Twitch. I'm trying to go live on Twitch. It doesn't like your name, Hexy Bastard. So we're just, we're over here on YouTube.
Do you know what I used to call myself? Hexy Bad Word. Just put that in.
Hexy Bad Word. Let me try that and see if it'll work.
Yeah.
Hexy
I got a couple of websites wouldn't let me have that username.
Bad Word.
That's clever.
All right. No, still doesn't like it, but oh, it actually, you are correct, sir. Hexy Bad Word is live on Twitch now. So
Nice.
nice.
There you go.
here we go.
Nice. The system works.
Is this
man.
a fellow Brit? Is Hexy Girl a fellow
Cheers,
Brit?
fellas.
Yeah, she's one of mine.
Cheers, sir.
She's one of
Nice.
us. What's up, Mexican girl?
Well, cool. So hopefully we can have a little bit of your familiar audience in for tonight. So the UK Telegram group, can you tell us a little bit about that, my friend?
Yeah. So it's just obviously the meetup got out. Well, Richard put a tweet out, I think it was about a month ago or something now, about how he was going to do a meetup in London. But obviously all these meetups he's been doing, he hasn't been announcing them in advance. It's always been like 24 hours before, hey, random city in Europe, I'm going to be here, come down. But this one, he actually announced it in advance, and that prompted a few people, shout out to the admins in that group. Shout out to a lot of you guys, actually. I'll give you a proper one later when I got the time. But anyways, these guys set the group up. I just jumped in there and we started. I was thinking about setting up a channel anyway. And what I started doing is just drawing dicks on charts and having open hangouts. And that would just be like, UK guys, get together, come in, tell me how you got in, when you got in, all of this kind of stuff, and we'll just have a talk about it. And they end up being like 4-hour-long live streams on every Saturday night. Well, last time it was Sunday, but every Saturday night usually we just open up mic and let people jump in and have a chat. And I tell you what, we've had some very, very interesting people come through in all of that, like way more knowledgeable than me. Like I don't have a clue what these guys are saying half the time, so I have to get them to dumb it down a little bit. But yeah, we've got a good crowd over there, man. It's a nice like little clique of people, and it's growing quickly. I think the more, because I don't think Hex is like too well known over here just yet. So just trying to spread the word, man. Trying to get the good word of Richard Hart out there,
Well, good to hear it, man. Good to hear it. I'm just viewing everybody in chat. Crypto Heartbeat, what is going on? I believe we just might have him next week. So looking forward to talking to him for the first time. Alchemist Jess, good to see you on the Ladies DS for the first time. I had not seen you before. So just another lovely, smart, Hexican woman. Like, community's full of them. How badass is this community? Seriously. Taylor, Hex Kai, what's going on, everybody? Children of the Grave, of course, is in here. So, I guess topic du jour. I guess we'll just start with the elephant or dick chart in the room, and that is the Hex price. So
the dick chart didn't pan out, guys.
It didn't.
It was going to go up, but it didn't. It went down.
Yeah,
sadly, it looked like there was a bit of a a bear flag, and then it dripped down a little. It's kind of like looking like it will test next support line and all that.
A bit of a flaccid chart, if you will. So we want like
Kind of rolled over and died a little bit. But if you zoom out, it's not that bad, really. Log scale zoom out, it doesn't look like anything, honestly.
Yeah.
But obviously we've had a huge influx of people getting in the last few months when the price has been higher than it is now. So there's a lot of sad people around in the community, but they just have to remember that Hex is long term. You got to think long with it and just hold. That's what you got to do, man.
Yep. It's the truth. I mean, like Richard says straight up, the volatility is a feature, not a bug. And, you know, like the end of the day, you have to remember that your profits are harvested from those who buy tops and sell bottoms. That is how it all works. So let it work. Let it do its thing, man. It's just doing its thing.
Yeah. And for all the new onboards who bought at 54 and then you go down 50%, like this just teaches them. Like this is what we all learned in 2017, 2018. Yeah. And I think we need more pain, to be honest. Like we're not done yet with the pain. But once we bottom out near that 15 there, then boom, we're done. We'll never touch these regions again.
Oh, so you're making a bottom call at 15? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, I'll make that call. See right in that chart where you got it. Like see the 15th of November, 15 cents right there. Max pain, just crush noobs, and then boom, then we blast off.
I mean, that's what we were talking about yesterday on the steak and bake. We were saying the same as like, I mean, we might go a little bit lower before we go back up. But
yeah, I mean, we are testing this long-term trend line here that goes back to, I think it was like May. Mm-hmm. So
no,
that's
where if we respect it, I love the respect right here. But you know, we might get a nice. I mean, Hex tends to when it right before it takes off, it tends to give us a good wick down. You know, doesn't last for very long, but.
So since Motley's not here and I'm kind of taking his place, I'm going to do the bullish scenario here. And, so hopefully I'll do Motley proud. But I think you know, we could be close to the bottom. You know, I don't know what the exact number is, but you know, we have a meetup coming in December and in London, and it'd be really cool if the price is doing well. So it'd be really cool if Pulse launched, and I think those are bullish scenarios right there. I think everybody would be pretty ecstatic to kind of get together and celebrate that. You know, Richard is a cryptic person sometimes, and you really don't know where he falls, but he kind of put out a random tweet that came out of nowhere. And, you know, LVC, we put out a tweet saying that we think his cryptic tweet might reference a time frame for when Pulse launches. So we'll see. But I think now's a good time to start accumulating. You know, why wait for it to start rebounding? I think this is a good price.
I do feel like the things have moved along, like the signs of a second testnet being necessity and them ready to push it is a good sign. I mean, like Richard, I do not believe that he really would like to do a third or a fourth or anything like that. So like, I think that shows that they're pretty close to what the parameters are that I think that they think they need.
In the first testnet, you know, it lasted quite a while. It's, you know, we've had a lot of time to work through it. So, you know, I think we're close. So if I don't know when the exact date is, all right. So who knows what the exact date is? Things kind of move. I understand how like software works. It could be shifted a day or two or whatever, but like I think these are good prices. So if somebody has some money on the side, I would say now is a really good time to buy. Even if it does wick to 15 cents or below, like if you can dollar cost average in, this is a great time to buy. We've already had, what is that, 60% correction? Like what more do you want? You know, I bought at 28 cents and 32 cents, and I'm totally happy with that. And if, you know, if I had some more to buy right now, like I'd be buying it up. So I don't know. That's how I see it. I think it's a good time to buy.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those things you don't want to wait. You don't want to miss, you know, a move from 20 cents to $2 to try to catch that extra 25%, you know, I'm looking for 15.
In Coinbase, you know, like if you're going through Coinbase, sometimes it takes like 6 business days for your money to go through. So set your stuff up, you know, and we already know this. We should be telling the newbies like, hey, it takes a long time. So get your money moving, go through Coinbase, move it off Coinbase to your MetaMask, try to capture a low fee, you know, do it at a good time, and have that stuff ready. so that when it's available, you're ready to move. Don't wait till the last second, because then you can do a wire transfer or something and pay extra on your fees, through Ethereum and all that stuff. But why give yourself that headache? Just do it now.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. I even started using the Coinbase debit card, and then you can leave a little bit of USDC on there. I could spend it at the grocery store if I want, and I get 1% back refund as Ethereum, and I use that for gas as well. So I've always got a little dry powder in Coinbase, just in case. You never know.
Yeah,
nice.
good deal.
Yeah, always good to have, and it's like as Yas touched on, it's like the moving and holding of funds. It's like, yeah, I think if we do get a break of this lower trend line, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, I really want to get in here, but if you don't have the funds ready to go, it's tough, man. Look who we got joining us here.
Yo, what's up?
Oh, what's up?
Where in the world is Motley Investor?
Trying to catch my connecting flight. Toronto.
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 Well, thanks for having by, Motley. Big K was going to dock your vacation time, but since you made an appearance, you're going to be good.
Yeah. No, we won't count it against your 10-day absentee.
Gotcha. Anything I can do to help?
So where are you on your way to, good sir?
Well, I might just be listening for a bit because my
He's saying his connection sucks.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's saying.
No.
All right.
And he's gone.
And he's gone. Oh, he's back.
Maskly invented.
Maskly invented in there.
Here, we'll see how long it takes for someone to yell at me. But no, I don't think the connection in the airport's too hot.
It's weird. It got a lot better as soon as you took off the mask.
Oh, that was a problem.
Masks are bad for internet connections. Yeah.
Did you catch my little bullish scenario? I was trying to make up for the fact that you weren't here. I don't know if you heard.
No, I didn't catch anything. I was literally just frantic.
He is doing you proud. He said that we're getting pretty close to the bottom here.
Playing and running to the other side of it.
Rip.
Sit in the background.
I thought we had 5G now, guys. What the fuck?
No, my phone says it's 4G in the airport. Sorry.
Oh, fair.
Blame Canada.
Yeah, blame Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Canada's fault. In America, we have 5G.
How many Canadian hexagons do we have anyway? I've actually,
I don't know.
come to think of it. Yeah.
I'm aware of a few.
Don't know any off the top of my head.
Bet there's a few of them.
Yeah.
But again, my wife is Canadian, so
Hey?
we've pervaded
Oh, there you go.
that realm.
Thinking by default.
Did you meet her at a hockey game, Big K?
No, but she did used to come and watch me play hockey when I played hockey in high school.
See, that's a good woman right there. Oh, Serena, she's Canadian, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I never picked up on the
Okay. Well, she's an OG. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Serena, for forgetting about you. but-
There you go. The first Hexican to make a video that wasn't Richard.
Exactly. So I guess, she just took over the land and drove everybody out. And she's like, I run Hex in this country. So, y'all figure it out elsewhere. Just like Hexy Bastard over in the UK, I guess, taking the lead. So.
Oh, no, not at all, mate. Not at all. People already had it all rocking and rolling, man. I'm just here to ask questions and look good. That's all, really. What we were saying a minute ago, by the way, he was on about the price and everything, but what I firmly believe is a contributing factor is these stupid Ethereum fees. Like, how can anyone participate at the moment with, unless you're already like a rich fucker, but like, how is a regular person supposed to play right now? You know, when you're going to lose $100 just to buy it, and then you've got to do, you know, spend another $30 to $40 per stake to put it on the system. And then when you come to unstake it, right now it's like what, $800 average, something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I paid $400 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, in that case,
And that's the thing is, it makes you have to be very careful about your time and what you know when you're, you know, it's just a lot of things that your average person is not like setting alarms to unstake their coins at Sunday at 11 p.m. You know, it's just there's some issues.
but
This is
that's
true,
also,
but I've even looked at those times. I've been looking, you know, when the gas is meant to be lower, and maybe it goes down to like 85 Gwei or something like this, but still a lot of money, man. It should.
Yeah, I mean, anything.
I remember
under
when I got
100
in, it was like
seems like a deal
$4,
now.
$10, and even that seemed expensive at the time. But you're not going to not buy it because of that. But if it's $80, you might not buy it, and that's a problem.
Yeah, I recommend people have like $1,000, and you're gonna take a 10% haircut to get it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, if you use that Dharma.io, you can buy it with, you know, just straight through your debit card. And it, like,
sadly, it doesn't help my people over here. It doesn't work in the UK.
Oh yeah, it's U.S. residents only for now.
Yeah.
Has anybody had good luck with that in the U.S.? Have you tried it, Big K?
I actually do have a few people that have tried it, and it works better than their attempts with Wire. So
Or Transact, I think is the other big one.
you said that one sucks, but I mean, I'm not saying that it works or doesn't. I mean, try it if you can, but like I have had less than awesome experiences with onboarding people with that. But the Dharma does seem to be okay, but it does have the similar issue that Coinbase is going to have in a different way, in that like you buy the hex on there, and then you don't get to take it off of there for a set period of time. So like, it's fine if you're just trying to catch the price moves, you know, but when you want to stake, you have to wait like a week to stake, basically. You know?
Gotcha. Yeah, that cooldown, man. Those cooldowns hurt. But as long as you're dollar cost averaging and just sending a little every paycheck and just stacking up, then it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
but
It's not impossible to get in, but you gotta have a lot of faith if you're a new guy. And say if you were putting in, I don't know, $500, you'd have to have a lot of faith in the overall thing. Because like you say, you're going to be taking like
That's a 20% haircut,
like a 20% haircut or something. So,
but this is a bullish case potentially for Hex on PulseChain, right? As soon as that launches, I think a lot of people will want to buy up Hex on PulseChain. So Ethereum might just kind of be stagnant because the fees are still going to be high, and if there's an opportunity to buy it for cheaper, just for the fact of Ethereum fees not being there, why wouldn't you want to go to that direction? So we might see a run up before the fork, but maybe after the fork there's also a run up or something. I could definitely see that happening, and yeah, I hope it does, because it'd be great to see that kind of adoption. People seeing like, oh wow, this is so cheap that cost me less than a penny. Like, that's amazing,
that'd be like the good old days. Yeah.
And then let's say we had a stake going on for like I don't know, a few months, where it starts to be close to as expensive it is to end a stake now, and you see that it only costs you like, I don't even know how much up, but let's just say $1. Are you really going to sweat it? Like, I doubt it's even going to be $1, but I'm just saying, like, that's the worst case scenario right now. Like, that's amazing.
That's a bargain, dude. $1?
Yeah.
That'd be life changing. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So many more hexagons that way. Oh my
But
god.
even then, if I don't have to spend $1 and it can just be like a couple cents, I'd
Like a nickel.
prefer that.
I
Yeah.
imagine a nickel.
for sure.
A nickel to do everything. Unstake, stake, swap, send. It's a nickel. That'd be
I'm
perfect.
pretty cheap. If it could be even less than a nickel,
Probably start at less than a penny, to be honest.
1-2 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be less than that.
As cheap as it can get. I'm all for it.
Yeah, question from Ash. Do you guys think people are selling Hex to cover unstake and restake fees? Absolutely, I do. I mean, even if it's, when Hex prices were higher, it was a little bit easier to, just peel like a little teeny piece off and be like, okay, this is going to cover my ETH fees. It sucks now that, Hex is kind of halved right now and we're in this state of the chart. But, yeah, it's happening, but I don't really consider that selling Hex. I mean, I've like just done it for like a tiny bit of ETH, but basically right now I've just been buying ETH and leaving my Hex untouched and planning out in advance, like Yashdeep was touching on earlier. Kind of like have your plan in order, have your ETH on standby, and yeah, just be prepared. Boy Scout motto, right? So, anybody else? I don't want to say sell Hex, but just take a little Hex for some ETH. I think most of us in here would have done it. I would guess. Go around the room.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go if you want. Yeah, I sold Hex at 49 cents a couple weeks ago. I had one of my first stakes ever came out. It was 49 cents. I sold that bitch, turned that into USDC. Now I'm sitting on some dry powder. So now I can make moves. I got some ETH gas now. I got some USDC on my debit card. I can buy the dip. You can do a lot of stuff. Yeah, definitely.
Double the Hex.
Yeah, I play both sides now. I mean, when I first started, it was just acquire Hex, acquire Hex, acquire Hex. And now that, for me at a penny, I was up. So now that we're even in this range, I'm still way up. So I can't
You're
complain.
like risk off fully now, aren't you? You're just like
pretty
never
much.
Even if everything went really bad, you're still happy because you've already got. So I think everyone should take a bit of profit, man. Like when you can, just take a bit because why not, man? Realize that. Yeah, realize it.
Yeah. It may hurt, like when prices pumping and you're FOMOing and you're like, oh yeah, Hex doing great. That's when you should be selling. When everybody's greedy and everybody's FOMOing and everybody's loving it, you should be selling to those people. And when everybody's crying like now and everybody's bleeding out, that's when you should be buying. And it's the opposite of what your brain and your emotions tell you. It's hard.
Yeah. When people are fearful, that's when you have to start pulling the trigger.
Bingo. And that's like right now. Like right now.
Everyone thought it was just going to shoot straight to $1, right? And it's like with Bitcoin, everyone thought it was going to go all the way to 100K, and then it just reaches the point. It's like, no. And yeah, that's the time to buy when it doesn't quite reach the thing, and then it has the big dip, and people start getting scared, thinking it's not what they thought it was anymore. And sorry, guys, I'll take those bags at a discount. Thank you.
Yeah,
I've been pretty fortunate. Like usually when there's a run up, people are always like trying to get in. I get a lot of new people coming my way, and I still try to help them out because I know they're trying to get in fast, and they're really excited. So I'm trying to capitalize on that. So I've done a few over the counter sales, and so it's never hit the price chart. And it makes me feel good that that I'm helping somebody, and they feel like I'm involved with them, that I want to see them do well. And so yeah, I've done most. I think I've done all over the counter sales. So any selling I've done has never hit the price chart, and all those accounts go ahead and stake. So, I've done that, but very specifically to sell Hex for some gas fees, I haven't had to do that. But I don't do trades like that often. I really don't do very much. It's like rare cases when the hype's there, you have to help people out, but that's about it. The last time, like I said, I bought at 28 cents, I bought at about 32 cents, and I've just been chilling. And hopefully if I had some more money, I'd love to buy more, but this is a crazy good deal,
Yeah, we have a question from C Chef. When do you guys think ETH fees will drop? I mean, tongue in cheek, when Pulse launches, because Vitalik will find some magical method of reducing the fees, and some button will
right when we launch.
Scummy bastard.
But any other guesses other than that? I mean, it's just it's such a joke right now.
Just when the price goes down, probably, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's like if we were at a top, then maybe, but
it might go higher. It might go to $5,000 or $6,000, and it's only going to get worse. I wouldn't bet on it going down. Not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully Pulse will put it in its place. That'd be sweet if Pulse can launch and then take away the users.
I mean, Pulse is going to appeal to that audience, obviously, with bringing the system state. So it is actually going to just it's going to organically pull a lot of people away anyway. But it's about how you market that to them. But I guess it's an easy sell, right? Hey guys, do you like paying $200 a transaction or like less than a penny for the same transaction? What's it going to be, guys?
Pretty much a no-brainer.
Very simple.
What's funny? Like this is I don't know, when we were first doing these stakes, like early on, January, February, all that kind of stuff of 2020, like if it cost me like 7 cents, I would wait.
Yeah,
I would wait to do the.
Same.
we were struggling over like 7 cents.
I was like, oh hell no, I'm not doing this. I'll do this at 8 o'clock, or
Yeah.
I'll do it later. Or whatever. Like,
trying to
no
save
way.
a single penny.
That's so true. So true.
I'm still like that, but it's like times have changed. You just you gotta.
Yeah.
I'm still the penny pusher right there. I do not care.
Yeah, mistakes are like times 1,000. Yeah.
But that's also how you make money. You got to be frugal. And you got to try to make it. It all counts. It's a mindset.
It does. It
Mindset.
does.
Save a penny, earn a penny.
Yeah.
Hey, if it was when the ETH was $100, now it's $4,000. Hey, that's you save 40 cents.
Yeah. It was,
real quick.
good.
Yeah, I saw a good comment from Crypto 303 earlier. If you guys are staking within Staker app, you also have the luxury of choosing which currency to take to extract your fees from. So yeah, you could either choose a HEX or a USDC. So.
That's like one of the best features of the Staker app.
Yep.
Is you can use USDC. You could pay your fees in HEX itself. It's fantastic. That's so convenient. Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah, that's good. Shout out Crypto 303, by the way.
Yeah,
he's been over with me a few times. Sound guy.
I have a question. Do you guys know if I wanted to buy, I have some newbies that are interested, and I think Staker is probably a really good way to go for them. If I were to buy like a package deal for like 20 wallets for them all at once, do you know if Steph and Firebun do something like that?
I believe they actually did that early on for a couple people. I'm pretty sure they bought like 10 packs and were giving out the smart wallets to people in chat and shit. So I think that I'm pretty sure that they have have done something similar before.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that because I think that'd be really convenient for me instead of reaching out to them every time there's someone. If I just had a set of wallets ready to go for them, that I could just be like, I got you, and
I think the director.
Yeah, so it would be pretty cool to have some version of the Cassius coins, like the old Bitcoins, the hard physical ones, like a wallet that was like those QR code style cards that you could give out to people. And I mean, you wouldn't want to have them stake it on there, or I mean, I guess they could. It's just like a one-time use and then destroy the card, kind of thing. Write your words down and be done with it. It would be kind of cool.
So is it that QR code that carries the words, or is it that it carries a referral link? I actually haven't done this before.
I think it's a referral link.
It's a referral link. It's a referral link. But I mean, you could have it set up to where the referral link is an already paid smart wallet.
That's what I'd like. Yeah.
Well, I do for all my onboards. I also buy all of anybody who I onboard with my link. I pay for their wallet.
Mm-hmm.
All you got to do, I just send the $5 or $10 of ETH to the smart contract, and then you take that EtherScan transaction. In the Staker app now, when people go to buy the wallet, they can just paste that address in, and boom, it's instant. I don't even think Firebun has to click a button anymore.
Okay.
So you can prepay $5, save that transaction ID, and then have them paste that hash in, and then it just activates.
So if I prepay $200, then I can have a bunch of wallets.
Nah, I've tried prepaying a couple and it didn't work out. It's got to be $5 each. You'd have to do all the transactions. It's double the gas. It's $5 in gas, $5 for the wallet. It's $10 each.
I would talk to them and see if they can make you a pack like that.
Yeah, I'll shoot him a message and see what he says.
Yeah, that's custom.
Yeah, I saw a couple comments from Mo and Benny just saying holler at Kareem too, because he is the business operation director or something title.
Head of business development.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And that's developing business, right? 20 wallets. That's sounds like developing good business to me.
Sounds like good business. Yeah. Well said.
Yeah, I was laughing earlier at Hexy Bastard talking about the 80-90 Gwei. I was like, man, I thought I got a deal when I woke up at 3 this morning. I saw it at 110. I was like, oh, I gotta hop on that.
Brutal.
R.I.P.
But yeah, it slowly I think went up later as the day went on. So I at least got a buy-in early this morning. So oh well. I say I'm done, but am I really? Let's hope we are. Just go up and let's get out of this 20-cent range where some
Yes, please.
rather sizable figures are saying that they are putting money to work. So that I just don't know if there's enough firepower to absorb all the sells, because I've kept track of some wallets and just like it's not a ton of Hex, but just some suspicious accounts that have just absolutely just flat out dumped. There's like 40-50 million Hex left for this month that's going to come due on various dates. I mean, in chunks, like 5 million, 7.5 million, 7.5 million, 5 million. And if they act like they did before, that's more sell pressure. But at the same time, I mean, every time we hit that 19-cent mark, we get some nice buys coming through from multiple wallets. So it could be a similar entity. I don't know, but that long-term, I would say long-term going back to May, but that long-term chart level that we brought up earlier, we're not the only ones that noticed that. So if that support holds, oh man, so exciting.
Yeah, if it's the best time for them to dump all those coins is now while we're at new all-time lows. Like perfect time. Dump it while it's low. Get them out of here.
Shake them out, man.
Yeah, totally. Do it now.
Yep.
Shake the sugar tree. So yeah, we're back at about 21-ish. But if you go out a little bit, like this could be a huge like flag kind of thing here. Kind of like it reminds me of like one of the Bitcoin charts Raul Powell posted before Bitcoin actually broke out, and it was like this huge long-term bull flag. And if Hex ends up breaking up above this line here, then that dollar might not be too far away. Don't want to get too faux Motley on you, but it could be there.
I'd like to, if you go, I'm saying this yesterday, if you go to the weekly chart and you find yourself looking at the end of most of these little bear periods, like I'm waiting for that weekly bullish engulfing candle, like we've seen it a bunch of times before, that would be, that's what typically happens towards the end of one of these little cool off periods. So it'd be nice to see this next candle take us over, or whenever the turnaround is, take us over 23 cents or so, and be solid in the next week. That'd be a good start.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel you. That would be sweet.
All right. Well, on the list next. So, how about this wonderful gathering?
Also, hit the log button on the bottom of that chart too.
Yeah, bro. Hold on.
There.
And hit the like and subscribe. Go ahead.
I like
Yeah. I was gonna say actually on log scale it does just look like a very long bull flag.
It feels way better that way. Oh yeah, look at that. I feel way better.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like, look, when you get back in that chart, every time you see a series of red candles, you'll see that bullish engulfing, boom, that pulls us out of it, and it's like, okay, when you have a chance to see that, it'll feel good, So,
we all like log scale. I'm a traditionalist, but whatever.
Well,
I like it.
It just on the dips, it makes you feel a lot better,
It does, doesn't it? It does. I feel.
The longer we.
Did we lose our bastard?
I think so. Yep.
I don't know.
It's just froze.
Yeah, a little frozen.
It's a theme tonight.
It wasn't me.
I've been
He's in another dimension.
Motley froze a little bit. Now we get the. There we go. Now he's back, I think.
He's coming back to us. There.
All right, bastard. Continue.
Oh, well, is it me who's breaking up there? Sorry, guys.
No, it's all right. You froze out a little bit. We kind of missed what you said. He's a frozen bastard.
I was just basically saying, like, the longer we stay in this like low range here, the more people are going to get shaken out, and we want long-term believers. So anyone who bought above this price or buys now is probably going to be someone who's in it for like at least a 10, 20, 30x, something like that. So it's kind of good. The longer we stay here, the more fearful people get. It might go down further, or even if it does have another little dip, it will get bought up quick. But when people see that price go down, they'll be like, shit, I need to get out. And believers who are going to do the 15-year stakes. So I'm honestly fine with the price right now.
Yeah, and speaking of stakes, I mean, we have, and now I'm freezing. That's why I keep just logging off my video. But we have, I think we crossed it today, 70,000 stakers. So, yeah, just another milestone hit. And Wales has commented on it. I've been watching it. It's like you look in the app and you see, the, I guess, transactions of sold versus purchased. Pretty much every day that I've watched, purchased has more transactions. End stakes versus stake starts, like new stakes have more starts. It's just the amount of hex volume coming out because these stakes, these are a lot of people just cashing out. It's going to overwhelm, in terms of hex, but in terms of users and onboarding, I think it's just quite bullish. And I don't mean to sound like too much like faux Motley deep-ish, but, who we just lost, I guess. But yeah, I mean, those are just bullish indicators for me. So if we can especially hang on this lower trend line, we are looking so good into a potential PulseChain launch in the coming weeks. I don't know. We'll get to that DFED. That's a tease, but get your take on that. But there's been a lot of dates thrown around. I think Hexo threw one out that was just like pure comedy, and he thought so at the time, and I kind of laughed, of June of next year, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah, so the 731 gathering, how about this? So what, December 2nd, London, we'll get Hexy Bastard on here to talk about it.
Well, actually, I'm going to be there now, so I didn't think I could be there, but I am going to be there now. So
Nice.
I'm gonna actually be there. So
Very cool.
It's going to be awesome meeting everyone. There's just I already know so many people who are going to be there, and obviously there's a lot of you guys are coming over. I hear as well. I don't know exactly who, but I've heard of at least a few of you guys who are coming over. So not you guys specifically in this chat, but I mean, you guys are like the American streamer guys, big heads.
I will most definitely be there. I'm very excited. I'm very stoked to be out there.
I would love to be there, but I cannot quarantine for either 5 or 10 days, and for those reasons, I'm out.
Same here.
731 is the day of the second anniversary. Like today, we're in day 600 or 703 or something like that of Hex's existence. So 731 is the 700 is the December 2nd will be the 731st day of Hex.
And there you go, informal, but
Yes.
informative.
Yes, that's
Thanks, Big K. Why you're here.
It's so funny because it's something that like early on in Hex I paid very close attention to the days, because there wasn't a calendar function in the go.hex.com front end for you to so you had to calculate your days.
Put in the days in Google.
I want this to be on March 3rd. I had to do fucking math to figure out what March 3rd was. Number
my
of
stakes
days.
were off by one day.
Yeah, they'd be off by a day, and I look at the chart and it'd be like, over by day. And back then, you could just unstake for 10 cents and then restake for another 5 cents, so it was all good, and big deal. But
I was too scared to do that. I have a blunder to admit to everybody. I had a relatively large stake that I made in the beginning, like day 3 or 4, and there was no fucking calendar. So I thought it was the day after big payday, and it was the day before.
Oh shit!
And then I unlocked that stake, and I missed the big payday on one giant ass stake I had. I swear to God, dude, that fucked me.
Dude, the big payday, as we got really close to it, we were trying to figure out what day is it on. Remember that? It was so many people were like, is it on this day? When does it close? Because the UTC standard time, and then it was a mess.
It's a simpler time, man. Now we have a calendar. That was a big deal. I was like, shit, this is so awesome.
Game changer.
So it didn't used to matter a lot, but now it doesn't as much. But now we're bringing it back. 7:30.
I would have totally got it wrong without a calendar, man.
Crypto 303. I'm pretty easy to recognize. Basically, like Yash Deep, if he made all the wrong life choices.
I think you said something about we should all be wearing name tags. Someone said in one of the chats that we should wear name tags with just our like Twitter handle on it, because that's how we'll know each other and stuff.
Yeah.
Totally.
It was hello, my name is name tags.
Yeah, it will be fun to meet everybody. And I mean, I was saying yesterday that, like, I mean, I know this will be a pretty exclusive and small event, you know, overall in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it'll be 500 people. I mean, in Vegas, there's a couple hundred, you know. I mean, like, I imagine that the size of these endeavors will grow over time, and we'll all get a chance to meet each other and do awesome, fun stuff. And, you know, give each other the hugs we want and say what's up and all the rest. That's, I mean, like, so don't, like, if people are like, oh, I'm really bummed about this particular one, like, don't, there'll be more and better. But if you are inclined to, I mean, like, definitely consider coming out. It should be fun. I think there is like 100 tickets or something left. I think that's, other than that, all the
That's sold pretty quick.
Yeah, all the basic VIPs, so all that's sold out. And then there is still like the donations. Of course, we're in the middle of a dip, so the donation side of things, like, there's only a few people so far that have tried to go out for, like, we're doing like a 10-person hangout ahead of time with Richard for like an hour, and you know a little bit more FaceTime with him, and that will be by whoever donates the most, you know, to the project. So that is that's another, like, that'll be another way for some other people. But yeah, it's like basically 510 or something people that'll be there. So, like I said, I expect to do some bigger, cooler events too. I'm very excited about doing about it all, you know. But this is something that I think will be kick-ass for footage. I mean, I think that those who really want to, you know, make themselves known and have, you know, get a chance to tell their story, will be able to, you know, there'll be a chance for people to come up to the mic and give their story for a couple minutes. So, like, I think that'll all be, you know, really cool for everybody, and for the documentary, which yeah, the 10-day quarantine or 5-day or whatever quarantine does suck. But like, Richard's willing to do it and thinks it's worth it and thinks it'll get good footage, then, you know, I'm into. So,
are you on the 5-day plan, Big K?
No, I'm vaxxed. So I mean, but so I whatever. It's but I do understand people's feel. I mean, I also do, you know, I'm not saying that you should skirt the rules, but I've heard of other countries and then ways through, and I don't know. There's, do your own research.
That's right.
A big rabbit
Can I
hole,
answer
man.
below that question down there?
Yeah, I was holding it there for you, David. I mean, this is, I guess we could all take a crack at it, but since it's addressed to you, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah. So why do you Hexicans think people are selling at the moment? I mean, just because the price is going down. People are selling because people are selling because people are selling. That's it. You know, that's all. You know, everybody has their own reason to sell too. So I don't know why they're selling, but the chart says they're selling. So you could, you know, some people may think I'll sell now and buy in lower. Some people think that. So that's part of it. And then all these bullish things like PulseChain coming soon, and then the free fork of Hex, you're gonna have a double. Well, this is the like this. It boggles my mind. I don't know why they're selling. I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I think that, like, if you want like some psychology on it, you can go with fear of the unknown. You know, I mean, like, if people, I agree that it's mostly just people are pressing the sell button more than the buy button. But, like, I mean, we're getting into, you know, some uncharted territory for Hexicans. I mean, it's a new project that's being launched, and I think that some people bought a lot of Hex, you know, on that run up, expecting Pulse to launch a little sooner than it may have been. But, you know, like, I mean, software is hard. Richard's never denied that one bit, you know. But, you know, I do think that some people were expecting, you know, did some sacrificing, maybe more than they might have expected themselves to, and expected this to happen a little quicker than, you know, anticipated. I mean, if you don't develop, then you're just like, well, why is it taking so long? You know, it's so I think that's part of it too.
Yeah, the other things I see is, like, you know, if you take a zoom out look and just look at crypto at large, you know, people are still talking about Ethereum. They're talking about NFTs. So they're, you know, like, if they bought in early, or not early, but on the run up, and now they see that the price is down, but there's other people making money and everybody's talking about it. They're like, you know what, maybe I'll pull out and I'll go over there and I'll make some money, and then I can come back in when the price is lower. You know, they're thinking about those games.
I mean, you're 100% right, Yash. You've even seen some of those bigger whale wallets toying with other goofy coins. I mean, so I mean, we know that
Shib.
I was.
Yep.
That dipped to 50% today, didn't it? Or yesterday?
Yeah.
That didn't take long, did it?
I've seen people tweeting about, oh, now's the time to sell Hex and buy SHIB. Sell Hex at the bottom to buy SHIB at the top.
But yeah, I mean, Big K's got a great point there. It's like all these other coins and NFTs I heard brought up, and it's so much crap out there, and it's actually, I think, a good thing for long-term price for Hex. It's like, okay, well, if you are actually selling now before you get a copy on another chain, like, you really don't belong, in this community. Or if you're dumping your whole bag, that's what I mean. Sure, you can take some off. Everybody's supposed to. I mean, that's what you do. But I see a lot of end stakes, and it is end stake dump, like full amount, and it's not even taking a little off and restaking. Like I've seen, and it's big amounts too. It's like millions. So it's just something we're gonna have to get through here. I think again on a Big Pep and some other channels have brought it up on the stake chart. November is a huge month for end stakes, and after this, I mean, naturally some of them are going to get rolled over to December, January, these short-term stakes, whatever. But from months ago, November was kind of like a big target on the radar there. So
I think it always will be, because like this is right around the time the Hex launched, right? And so a lot of us are just like your stake, and then if you do a ladder, it roughly ends up to be about November, December, January, So I think this will always be kind of a thing that we need to kind of prepare for, and just be aware, and then let people that are new coming in, let them also know, like, this might be coming, and this is why you need to prepare for it, and be ready, so that if you are looking for the long term, you're not pressured into selling. You don't feel like, oh my God, the price is tanking. If you are aware of, because a blockchain is the most transparent, Hex is extremely transparent. If you know those things, then you don't have to worry about. Sorry, 1 second.
You hit the nail on the head, Yash. Every November, I'm looking here at Hex.vision on the staking chart. Every November, it's a huge peak, because that's what everybody did. They did the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, going all the way back. So you can see it in the chart. That's exactly what's happening.
I was waiting for Yash to pull a gun from underneath the desk, but all right, we're good.
Shoot his dog.
Dog barking. Wait, hold on. What's going on? They found me, bro. But yeah. So I think the fact that we all have a lot of different answers for this question is kind of the answer to the question, right? It's like there are a ton of reasons for people selling, and some people just need to sell. I mean, I'm not going to knock anybody for that. Now, I will question the intelligence of people knowing that PulseChain is coming up. I will question that. But if you're clueless and you just bought some Hex or got some Hex in the adoption amplifier, okay, and it's like, oh, I don't even know this PulseChain, but hey, I got this coin in my wallet, and now my stake's up, and I'm just going to dump it, get out, move along. And like we were talking about earlier, the stakes, the new stakes starting are outpacing the end stakes. I mean, we're up past 70K now, so that's long-term bullish, man. Long-term bullish, and that's what we're about, right? Delayed gratification. So yes, John May is buying this lovely sell. Well,
smart.
That's when you buy. Not financial advice, but I think it's just life advice. You buy when things are cheaper and you sell when they're higher. So yeah.
Oh yeah. So 50% coupon right now, or 55. That's not bad. Half off.
Yeah, man.
It's like $4 for $1. A little better. Not bad.
Almost $5 for $1, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, $5 for $1 at 20 cents. You're right.
And double that. Well, double your coin amount. I'm not saying the value of, but
when PulseChain, yeah, you'll get double. Well, yeah, you'll have 2 complete sets of stakes and Hex ready to go.
I like that. Sets.
And then and then 2 years from the launch of PulseChain, we'll be at this spot then, and we'll look back and say, holy crap, we have eHex at what, $1? We've got pHex at $1.50. We've got Pulse at 25 cents. I mean, it's going to be bananas, man. Just that's what we're going to be talking about in years from now. So
BANANAS. Yeah.
Hey guys, I got to get going. I'm going to meet up with Crypto Sparbook, and so
Nice.
yeah, I'm going to go see Alan and Hex Lion and all them. So yeah, I got to hit the road.
that's awesome, dude.
Well, thank you for coming on, folks.
Take lots of photos.
Came on by.
Yeah, I'll take photos. I'll post them on Twitter. Yep.
Nice.
Awesome.
Good to see you guys.
Awesome.
Take
See you
it easy,
guys.
bro.
Later.
Adios.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I seem to be having like bad internet for some reason. Keep cutting out and then coming back on.
This was a coronal mass ejection yesterday and today, so it's space weather.
There you go.
Fair enough.
No joke.
Hex users not affected.
That's right.
I'm affected.
The whole internet goes down, and then every Hex user affected, but I'm not worried about that.
Motley's
Yeah,
God, I
no
hate
bigger
airports. One of you Hex whales start a Hex airline already. I'll fly constantly and scoop the dip. So.
There you go. Hex Airways.
Hex Airways.
Oh,
Has a nice ring to it.
Oh boy, we got a math question from 303.
Uh-oh.
I think it costs 2.7 ETH to end a 5555 right now.
Whoa.
I mean, obviously we're not there yet. We're years and years away.
How would you know that? That's
What was I
impossible.
saying?
I think he means like if it was right now.
Theoretically,
Yeah,
if right now,
you can test it. Yeah, if you click the red button and then you go all the way up to the point where you're about to pay the gas fee. But I think that's a little inaccurate because I think that I think the calculation for the cost changes if it has to account for a penalty. So that might not be. It might actually be a little less if it weren't including that penalty. So.
Mine haven't been anywhere that close, and then even if you multiply it times 15, like I've never paid 0.1 ETH to end a stake. That seems really high.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that bad. And if it is an ESS, then I think Vince is right. It's just extra compute.
I think that like a 200, like a 700-day stake might be close to right now. Might be close to like 0.15 of an ETH to unstake. You know, so like if you multiply that by 7, you know, you're pretty close to 1 ETH or so.
Yeah,
for a 15-year unstake, which I mean.
Still
is
crazy.
Is high. You know, I mean, that's
maybe ETH will be $100 then. Who cares, right? Maybe it'll be cheap.
That's true.
Yeah.
Who knows? And PulseChain will be there to save us too. That stake, if you really waited the 555,
It's not clear enough for me.
that'll be nothing.
Yeah.
We could answer what would the price be relative to ETH in 15 years? Well, from launch, from December 2nd, 2019. What do we think the ratio of Hex to ETH will be? Do you think Hex will be worth more than ETH or less?
That's
Could be worth more,
yeah.
man. One Hex could be worth more than 1 ETH.
Yeah, I mean they're always moving against each other, right? So it's one of those wild cards that you'll never know. And then it's all a comment in the chat. It's like ETH 2.0 is going to fix it. LOL. You know, it's like and that's another wild card, right? So it's
EIP 1559 was going to fix it. Maybe
yeah.
Well, EIP 1559 started the ETH burn. So in 15 years, there may be less ETH than there is today. And one Ethereum could be $10,000, $20,000, $50,000. I mean, that could happen. I wouldn't bet on it though.
All right. Well, I was about to say we have a special guest. I think courtesy of Big K, but Big K just rugged us. So I was hoping we get this guest here in a week or two when my production quality is a little better. I'm not like streaming from a condo, but everybody have a warm welcome. The highest of stakes is in the house.
Hey, how we
Good
doing?
to meet you.
What's happening, Patrick?
What's up?
Yo.
What is going on, amigo?
Yo, well, pleasure to be with you guys. I tried to catch you just a little bit ago when my production quality would have been a little more suspect as well. I was on the road and tried to live stream from my Sprinter van. but it didn't work. So I had to wait until I made my way home and hit you that way. So hey, no judgment here whatsoever with regard to production value. So just excited to be here and be with you guys.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at your camera right now, and you look absolutely wonderful. So
well, I appreciate it. I
to-
feel like I'm a little hot, but it's weird because the exposure on the camera is always just a little hint different with the moment it goes to broadcast. So
Right.
you know, and I can't. Surprisingly, I'm using a Fujifilm. I can't dial in exposure once I'm set, so I'd have to leave you and come back. So you know, whatever. Oh, the challenges of cinematography. It's like, oh, woe is me.
Well, welcome. We have Hexy Bastard on from the UK, the first time on the show, and now, of course, yourself. I've been seeing you. I mean, I got to briefly meet you at the Furu's Eulogy video shoot.
Yes.
And got to witness, you know, your behind the scenes of the video shoot, but also your video shoot with that. So that was really cool to watch. And I mean, you've been everywhere. Plus, I've seen you on Discourse Syndicate. So for those who don't know and may not have been able to watch, say, Wake Up Hex or You with Kinetics, can you just bring us up to date on what's going on, how the production's going?
Yeah, pleasure. So I'm Grant, and I am one of the co-directors of The Highest of Stakes, a documentary that's exploring cryptocurrency through the lens of Hex and Richard Hart. And so, you know, we're excited to be invited into this world. I feel like we're new to this community, and we're new to exploring both the landscape of cryptocurrency and specifically Hex within that world. And so, you know, our introduction began in a discovery call with Richard over Telegram in July, where our interest was piqued, and he was as equally interested in, you know, us as we were in him. And so shortly thereafter, we said, "Hey, Richard, we'd like to come over to your house and do an exploratory discovery filming." And he said, "Yo, pump the brakes." He said, "We have this little thing in the crypto world called OPSEC, and we've got these security concerns and a lot of these other things that we need to onboard you to. And so I would be willing to meet with you, but let's go somewhere that's a neutral third party kind of location." So we ended up in Estonia, Tallinn, Estonia, of all places, and spent several days with him, getting to know him, getting to know his story, and then making him familiar with who we are, our approach, and the way that we saw the story that we'd like to create. One of the analogies I often like to make is I feel like we were a little bit peanut butter and chocolate, meaning that, you know, this combination could do something special together. And so we are all in. As a production studio, we're all in on this story. We're going to devote every ounce of energy and effort into creating the most powerful documentary that we possibly can. We feel like the community has embraced us, both through access, but also support. Here more recently, you've been helping us drum up the other side of this story, because the experience of the community has been that there's been a lot of challenge and tension in this space in the last 2 years, and we need to represent that in a very powerful and authentic and real way. So we've been asking the community to offer who they feel is the strongest and best oppositional voice to Hex in this space. And you know, I think that you guys were kind of shy there for a while, but I also think that you're struggling to find anybody that is offering a tremendously intelligent counterpoint. And as a result of that, then, you know, we're looking for that strong oppositional voice, and welcome anyone who can, you know, help present that to us. So we here in the more recently have discovered a few, which is fantastic and encouraging on our side. And and then you know, we're in the midst of production and excited to be doing that. We've had several strong conversations. We like to call them conversations that happen to take place on camera, as opposed to the more traditional interview style of approach to our work, because, you know, we think that we get more of an authentic and genuine reaction from people when we approach it that way. But we've had several of these powerful conversations already. We have several more that have already been scheduled. And then on December 2nd, there's the 731 gathering that we will accompany Richard and the entire community in celebrating the 2-year anniversary of Hex, and excited to be doing that inside of over in London. And I'm going to be attending a DeFi conference down in Miami alongside Art Basel around the NFT space in the days launching and leading to that. So so we're just off to the races. Excited to be undertaking this and looking to create and share this piece with the world in honor around Q4 of 2022. So principal production over the next 6 to 8 months, then we're in post-production, and then we're in distribution from there.
Awesome.
Can I take a breath now?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's a long sentence, mate. Can I just say one thing to you, just while you're on? I've watched your documentary trailer, must have been over 100 times now. I still get goosebumps, man.
I'm happy to hear that. And now, the one thing I have to say is that's just a sizzle reel.
The sizzle.
That's not even a trailer.
Not even
a
full trailer.
An existing documentary. That's just a proof of concept that there's an awesome story to be told, right? So,
It's
I mean,
so cool,
yeah,
man.
I share that excitement about the story with you, and I too still watch it and get goosebumps, which is like a really good thing. But just to level set and let everybody know, like, that's not a trailer, right? A trailer comes from a pre-existing piece that already exists. This is just the proof of concept that we have a really awesome story that we're invited to go create and share. So I can't imagine if that's the sizzle reel. Can't wait for the trailer.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, either.
Right?
Yeah, because I feel the same way.
I feel it. I mean, like that was part of this project that was like super exciting for me, was getting to meet you, Grant, was to like feel your excitement for, like, you know, you are ready to be a Hexakin yourself, you know, like, and that excitement. I mean, I think that on our first talk that we had, we talked Hex more than the movie almost, you know.
Well, it's a fascinating space, and for us, like, that is the movie and the story, right? So, like, yes, like, that's the for us, man. Definitely, yeah.
It was awesome.
You know,
It was awesome.
and I still feel like we're being onboarded, you know, even still to this moment. But the excitement for the story, you know, continues, and actually, it's building, right? Like, there's there's a momentum behind it that really starts to get exciting, and as we do more, we're thinking bigger. I think that's encouraging as well, right? Like, we really need to be thinking about what kind of people can we reach out to and engage in this space that are, you know, that are either household names or are like tremendously large players in the space, and therefore carry a weight to them, rather than, you know, staying kind of in the gatekeeping kind of a experience that I know that the Hex community is all too well familiar with.
Yeah, low quality furus, right? It's hard to find a good one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right. That's it. Yeah. No low quality furu. Right. We need a high quality. We need a big high quality.
There's not a lot of high quality. I don't think there's any high quality ones, because they wouldn't know. Like,
right.
None of the arguments hold up. That's hard. That's hard to find.
As we start drawing more attention to, with what you, as you said, as we look bigger, you know, I think that we'll find some of those voices that are more willing to come forward and say some things, as, you know, the quality of this as high as it is. I mean, I'm very excited to see what comes up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I would have to, you know, I would be remiss if I didn't say how appreciative we are that, you know, out of a very quick get to know you, Big K support that, you know, he I think, because he's, you know, uniquely positioned, though I wouldn't say he's alone in this position, but uniquely positioned to know the space, to know the community, and to have such a strong belief in the need for a story to be made, was very quick to say, you know, yes, I support the idea, and allow me to be an instrumental part in helping us create that. And so, you know, there's a timeliness to this that is paramount. And so, you know, we would not have been served well to have spent a tremendous amount of time resourcing even the potential of production. And so we're immensely grateful that Big K stepped in and said, like, look, like let's get off to the races. Let's make this thing happen, and let's go yesterday. And that's a very unique position to be in as filmmakers. And it's not remiss on us. We are very, very appreciative.
Yeah, I can tell, and I can see that you guys know exactly what the value of that time is. I mean, I've been doing events of all sorts for my for years and years, and like what you can actually accomplish in a short amount of time when you are like no, bang bang, let's do this. We got 12 hours to make shit happen. You would be very impressed. So like I when people have the fire underneath them, the last thing you want to do is get in their way and make them drag their feet through mud. You want to get out of the way and give them what they need.
Well, yeah, and you said something really interesting there. I wanted to touch on. So in the projects that you've done, over the years, has there ever been one like this one to where you have kind of an entire community at your disposal? Do you have any experience in something like that, or is it just something new that you're exploring right now?
No, I guess I would say, interestingly enough, I was very fortunate. I came into filmmaking very late, so this is more my story than it is our story in terms of the studio. But I came into filmmaking late. I was 35 years of age, putting my boys to sleep each night, not modeling the lifestyle that I wanted for them. I had gone to college as a theater major and thought that I would go off to Hollywood, LA, and New York, but decided I didn't want to raise a family there. So my wife and I still to this day live in what I affectionately call Cowtown, Ohio, a farming community north of Cincinnati. And so I had gone into real estate investing and had done, things to put all of my dreams aside. And then I drew a line in the sand in 2011 and said, I'm going to pursue filmmaking and I'm going to teach myself how to do that. And it was in that I found Patrick, the co-director online, who was offering all of this education for filmmaking, but it also wasn't enough. So he tweeted out that he needed a production assistant in Chicago, which is 6 hours away from me. And I responded out of 20 seconds of courage and said, I'd love to be there. He said, can you make a 4 a.m. call time on Thursday? Yes. And it cost me more in hotel fees and travel than I was making. And I worked my tail off alongside 19-year-old kids, because that's who PAs are, right? They're not 35-year-old dads. But as a result of having these great conversations with him over the next several months as his production assistant, I said, I want to create a film about complacency. Why do we exchange our dreams for a scripted lifestyle? And can I hire you to be the DP? And he said, man, are you going to be on camera? I said, well, it's my story. And he's like, I've had bad experience with clients in the past who've hired me to do work. So no. And all right, well, fine. I'm going to do this anyway. And 3 weeks later, a producer friend and I had assembled a team of 5 guys. We bought a van and we drove 10,000 miles across the country in 42 consecutive days, interviewed 51 people, came back, created a Kickstarter campaign that at the time was the #1 most supported documentary Kickstarter campaign in the history of the website, not by money, but by the number of people who supported it. I guess people who are bronies, these are adult men who love My Little Pony, have more money than the people who worried and fought complacency, but that's all right. So yeah, we have had some success in engaging communities who have had the kind of interest in a specific topic in the past. However, I'd be remiss to say that this one didn't add at least a zero to that budget and maybe more, right? And that's not insignificant, man, not at all, right? So so meaning that the first opportunity that we took stood out in faith and took on a big audacious goal in creating a documentary, which we did from idea to completion in under 6 months, and by Hollywood standards, that's insane. And it was very successful by the metrics by which we held ourselves accountable. If I go back and look at it now, it's been a decade since, and it was the very first thing I directed. So I see all of the holes in it, but I know that it's unquestionably changed the lives of hundreds, if not thousands of people, because I get the emails and the heartfelt thank yous and the tweets and the even still to this day, occasionally receive DMs for people who are only finding it now a decade after it launched. So, have had some success, but never like this, right? Like, just to be clear, never has a community been so excited, so inviting, and so open. Because I think that the one thing that we've attempted to do through this entire operation is to say, like, this is a documentary. This isn't a great big propaganda piece. This is, going to need to explore the space of cryptocurrency and our relationship, to the way that society sees that, governments see that, whatever. But then also within the space of Hex, there's going to be, we need that tension, and we need that, and we're gonna, we're not meant to go lightly on what is this story and what does it become. And so, that's interesting. But I think what's really awesome is the community from day one has said, yes, like that's exactly what we've been asking for, is for that to, that kind of lens to be invited in. And then by extension for that story then to go out and go beyond the existing and expected audience, right? To transcend that and open an invitation for people to explore this. People like my mom or my 12-year-old son, right? Like people who would not naturally be exposed to cryptocurrency or Hex otherwise. So that's kind of the long-winded story to yes and no.
Some of us are speculating that this documentary could be a huge driver in the appreciation of Hex, to be honest, though.
I have watched enough of your live streams to know that this is the disclaimer that comes at the front side of everything. This is not financial advice. This is you need to do your own research. Like I make
no expectation.
I'm learning. I'm a quick student. I'm a quick student.
Yes, it's true.
No expectations. That's right.
No expectations.
Yeah, but that's like cool thing that Big K just said is we had an investment manager on last week, and he emailed me. We've been chatting ever since, and he's been asking me about Hex, and I mean, even on the show, he was taking notes, asking legitimate questions. And he's like, "Okay, so all these streamers that you're talking about, you guys are like paid somehow, right?" And I'm like, "No, absolutely not. I mean, this is organic as it gets," and it blew his mind. Just it did not compute, because he's from the world where it's okay, well, if somebody is interested in talking about an asset, you're obviously getting paid for it. And he was like I said, just could not comprehend that. So I'm hoping to get him in touch with. Okay.
Have you followed Floki Inu?
Say that again.
Is it Floki? Flocky?
Shibu?
Inu? No, it's the latest one. So it's the third iteration, and it's now a token named after the dog that Elon Musk just got, this puppy. Okay. But what's interesting about this one, and the reason that I bring it up, is to your point of people who are streaming and doing so and getting paid in sponsorship. If either of you, if anybody follows Meet Kevin or Graham Stephan, who have audiences in the millions, both of them just came on and did pieces where they're not saying that they're sponsored, but clearly they're sponsored pieces that they're pushing and pumping this token. And this has happened in the last 48 hours. I mean, this is really fresh and new, and it's a crazy development in terms of, because I had always thought that there was a line at which some of these large influencers were not going to cross, and it just was crossed in the last 48 hours.
They all do.
And it's remarkable.
That
right?
is remarkable. I mean, that's crazy, because I can understand, I'll be honest, I can understand small furus that like these people like us that they initially none of us had mad gains or anything like that. We were just doing it because we understood the code and thought we were all getting a bad shake out of the crypto community,
right.
and if no one else is going to talk about it, let it be us. But these people that have been there for years and years, I mean, it's not because they're great traders and they've made a ton on Bitcoin. It's because somebody's paying them and they're getting sponsorship somewhere along the way, So I can understand the small ones existing that way. But when you're a Meet Kevin or somebody bigger that gets their sponsorship dollars from way more legitimate sources, and like the fact that they're willing to take money like that really puts the whole. I mean, it's a very dangerous game, because like they have no idea when that rug pull is going to happen. They have. I mean, like when the cells start coming in, they're gonna feel really silly, or they're not going to care, and like either one is it's really. I mean,
so short-sighted, right?
Yeah,
like it feels
yeah.
so.
I mean, and that's when you hear Richard talk about that, when he's like, go find someone who I've ever given a bad deal to. You know, he's like, that's good business. Like that. I like when he says it, it seems so prophetic, but like at the root of it, you're like, no, that's just how it should. That seems as black and white and as easy as it gets to understand. You're like, that's how you should treat your customers. You have those people have to buy something else later, and hopefully from you again. You know, like
imagine.
You brought something up earlier there as well, this NFT conference. So I think maybe some people think, oh, you're just following around Richard and Hex and PulseChain, but is this kind of more of an all-encompassing crypto, taking a look at other spaces, this NFT phenomenon, and then bringing it all in to the final product?
Well, I think so. I think that some of our story structure is still in discovery, right? So we need to know, like we're still, kind of in that anthropological kind of, gathering of data so that we know where it's headed. But I can tell you what in the discussions we've had and what we anticipate is that one of the reasons that this story, really has spoken to our team is that there's an inevitability to blockchain technology and the role it's going to play in our lives, right? Like that is just, in the same way that we may have misunderstood or overlooked other previous technologies or platforms, the whole, how many members of your family, well, I'll never have a Facebook account. Okay, grandma, now how's life, right? Like, tell me how that's going for you
now, and we've all stopped using it, but they're all now using it.
You know what I mean, or whatever. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. So, so in that same way, we understand that blockchain is going to do the same thing, right? Like, there's this inevitability in the way that it's going to permeate our culture, our transactions, our everyday life, and one of the more easily discernible ways of saying that, even if you're not in the crypto space, but the way that this is going to happen is through that NFT technology, or the idea of being able to offer someone airdrop coupons, NFT kind of, right? That kind of space or whatever. And so it warrants us exploring it and then finding out where within the story it kind of represents, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm imagining, if I had to anticipate, that it's probably coming nearer the end of our story, right? As it's building kind of vision for the other areas of our life in which these kinds of, right, everything that we've already seen that has already come and played out will now inevitably play in the lives of you, our home player, right? Mom, right? Like this is how your life may or may not be affected by that. And that's, and again, I think, NFTs, bring into question the idea of value, right? I mean, like, I think that we all would say that already based on some of the headlines that, while, many in your community have seen such mad gains, the idea that, a JPEG is worth $69 million can be like, huh? Right?
Yeah.
But
right.
So too was the blank canvas upon which the Mona Lisa was painted, right? So like, so I think that it's awesome, the conversation that this environment invites, and that's what we want, right? That's what we really want to explore. And it'll be a very small part of this larger idea and exploration, but it has to be embraced, and we need to find the way that we can introduce it in a way that we have that, what we call enlightenment, is kind of how we're exploring this. It's not edutainment, right? It's not the idea that we want to educate you. It's the idea that we really want to entertain you, and then we want to enlighten you enough that you'll go explore on your own and really discover for yourself those worlds that are most important and relevant to you, the audience member, right? Whether that means, you're now devoting your entire life as an artist and creating NFT campaigns, or whether that's, my mom and she's taking a small portion of money and investing it, or, whether it's my son, who I hope looks at all of this and goes, oh, guess what I can build on the top of this, right? That doesn't even exist yet, right? That the world hasn't even seen as another application for this technology and where we're going. That's really right. Like that's really what we want is to encourage and inspire. So
I feel like you guys are going to you're going to get a lot of new people in, because just from like the sizzle reel, like you say, from there you can see you're explaining what crypto is from like the ground up, which is brilliant. But you obviously putting Hex at the forefront of that, so it's not just for Hex, it's just telling the story of Richard Hart, but it's also educating the masses on like how crypto works and all of these things, which I think it's gonna bring a lot of people in the space. I mean, I'm fairly new within it. I only got into crypto really this year, so I kind of know how people think, and it's only when you see silly numbers and a bit of proof behind it, or you know someone who's made a lot of money out of it, and you've got a story there to believe in, that's when you might decide to FOMO in. So, you know, get on Netflix, mate.
You mean a candlestick chart isn't what got you into this?
I just draw dicks on them.
So you definitely need to humanize it, right? Like we need to make sure that people understand that both the power that can come in those who have seen success, and also just how treacherous it can be to dive into this, and at what risks those investments are often met with. So yeah, unquestionably the idea of wanting to inspire people to become aware, and then to take whatever action is appropriate for them would definitely be one of those metrics by which we will measure our own success of this story, right? So yeah, 100%. It's also interesting though, hearing you Hexy say, that you're new to this and you've only been in it for a year. The truth of the matter is you've been in it for a year. You're almost OG in Hex, right? That's wild. Think about, like
T-Bird said in the chat earlier, I noticed this comment. He said, we're going to be pre-documentary hexagons.
Right.
So true, man. Pre-snapshot, pre-documentary, pre-everything, we're still, we're so early, man. So early. That chart can go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean that's something that I was just talking to somebody else about. That, like, I mean, there's still only 70,000 staked addresses, and I got a few myself. So, like, I mean, there's still so few people around the world that actually own and like use this asset. So, like, I mean, it's incredible how many people we can easily reach, and the story we all know it's super well. It's captivating, and then like it draws every one of us in. It's gotten me on a live stream weekly, like it's done. It's crazy, So I mean, it tells itself, and having y'all being able to put it together is going to be fantastic. I really, really, really am excited to be a part of it all.
So we are too.
Yeah, and Anon has a great comment here. It's just what really got me deep was my bank not allowing me to move my money. That's how I saw fit. It's like with crypto you can, and it's a story that needs to get out there because it's still in its infancy. So yeah, I think T-Bird's comment earlier of PD OGs could prove true as well, as everybody else was in from the AA. That's another set of OGs as well. So
yeah, the first year. Imagine if you were in year one or year two of Bitcoin. How good would you be doing today?
Yeah, people be. Yeah, even in the first 5 years of Bitcoin, if you held since any of the first 5 years, you would be set right now.
If you had diamond hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? Because like the guy who got it at $1 and sold it $1,500 feels like a king, almost like a god, right? Until today. So
yep. I mean, that's the thing is most OG Bitcoiner story is I bought some, it went up a lot, I sold it, and then it kept going up. That's most.
That's a really unique selling point for Hex, and it's what attracted me to it the most is the fact that I force myself to lock it up, and because I know that I'll sell it on a 2x or a 3x or a 4x, but there's no way I'm waiting for a 1,000 or a 10,000x that I just wouldn't, because I'm a degenerate.
Yeah,
so.
it's an IQ test that you can constantly get smarter at, and you see it right in the numbers. I mean, we went from 3.8 years average stake length to 5. What are we at? 5.7 or 5.5?
5.8, I think.
We're on the way to 6. Like it's almost 6 years average.
I mean, that just shows how people are getting smarter. It's great.
Yeah. Staking saves you. That's why Hex is better than Bitcoin, because you can stake it, build that yearly ladder, boom, you're good. You're gonna be able to sell at all the prices.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it convinces you along the way to do fun. Like, you know, with my time, I'm happy to do awesome projects like this documentary. You know, like all I want to do, you know, with my time and energy is, you know, spread the good word and find unique and interesting, awesome, cool ways to pump our bags. You know, like, I mean, whatever way is also entertaining and fun to do as well.
Yeah, that's why we all did that video, right? That's why we all drove down there and spent our time and you know, recorded that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we were all volunteers.
Yeah, and that's like what staking brings into it. It's like, I think Hexy touched on it, you know, just slightly. It's like once you're in, you're invested with money, but you're also invested with your time, and then you explore more, and then you learn about, you know, more about T-shares, and then you most likely, if you understand them and see price go up, then you enter more in, and then you get your friends in, and then your coworkers, and it's just this positive, you know, self-reinforcement of the product that is just truly amazing to me.
I started with 1 stake and now I have 15, and I just want to keep adding more, because I literally just did 1 10-year stake for my 40th birthday, and I was like, yeah, maybe that'll do all right. And then it doubled like a week later, and I was like, shit, man, I just need to throw away this.
There you go. But I have over 60 stakes, man. I'm like addicted to them.
Oh shit.
Tons of stakes. The more the better.
Yeah. That's how it works.
I'm gonna keep adding, man. Keep adding.
Any other questions for Grant?
I was just say, man, I appreciate you inviting me on. The one thing that I would share is, if you guys haven't already checked out the Hex 731 gathering and you're interested in joining in London on December 2nd, you know, make an appearance, get one of those tickets. And for those who already have tickets, there's a fantastic undervalued opportunity right now to make a donation to the documentary and thereby become one of the top 10 positions on the leaderboard, where you're invited to a private cocktail hour prior to the event itself with Richard. I mean, you're talking about a room of like 15 people, including Richard and the documentary team. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, I would recommend right now considering getting your name up on that board and then monitoring it between now and the 15th. When that gets solidified and the snapshot is taken. So anyway, I mentioned that because as of right now, if that's the kind of thing that you're into, the opportunity is ripe and rich. So
do you know how many tickets are left over, sir?
Yeah, I think at the moment, I think there's roughly, if I'm not intimately involved, but I think there's roughly like 150 tickets remaining in the entirety of the space. So the 5-5 club is sold out. The early birds are sold out, but of the remaining tickets, I think there's generally somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 left or so. So it's going to be a spectacular evening. Should be a blast to be a part of. And it's one of those moments that if I were looking at it as a community member, it makes the ones and zeros real. Right? Like that to me is what's wild about it. It's like there aren't all of the, these live streams are fantastic. And I think that, that's the reason that this community is so tight, is because you guys do converse and have this opportunity to engage through, platforms like this. However, there's something to the pageantry of rubbing elbows and, sharing a dance floor and just all of the pageantry that comes with an event and the celebration like that. So for those that are interested, this is the first time to make those ones and zeros real in that way. So I would encourage you, if you're on the fence, just think about it. And it's also
got my ticket today, mate.
It's did you? That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that is awesome. And it's the history of the community. And
it is. The community is amazing. There's not a more welcoming community that I've ever came across in my life. Everyone in here is sound. Everyone's out with the same common goal. And this documentary is going to be awesome. The event's going to be awesome. I can't believe there's even tickets left. So go and get them quick, guys.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys for having me on.
Hey, can I ask you one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
All right. This is just a fun question because we like to have fun on the show a little bit.
Let's do it.
Do you have a favorite moment to date that perhaps hasn't been shared of a funny interaction with Richard or just one of these meetups or something we haven't heard yet that's hey, this is kind of funny.
Well, I mean, maybe funny. I mean, I don't know. There hasn't been. I'm trying to think of the thing. I don't know that there's anything that's taken me to the ground with laughter yet. You know what I mean, or whatever. But there have been some moments that were that have played out that were different. But one of them I thought was just wild. Was Richard? It was in Copenhagen, and it announced this meetup, right? And so we had kind of anticipated the number of people that might be there. Right. And I don't know, a half an hour before, I think there were like 4 people that had shown up and, you're kind of going, okay, well, this is all right. Like, this feels, not completely out of place for, the number of people or whatever, but so then we had kind of placed an over under, like what number do you think we're going to be at or whatever. And so the team was talking and I think 15 minutes pass. And at that point, there's maybe 12 people that are there. And we're all kind of looking at like one another going like, well, this is going to be interesting, right? Like, this is all right. Like, it is what it is, right? Whatever. And it was like right at that point in time or whatever that I'm hanging out in the lobby, helping support our team or whatever. And then, and found myself in this position where I was helping just a couple people find where the actual room was, where the meetup was being held. And so, it helped shepherd a couple people that way or whatever. And then I'm approached by this woman who's by herself and I'm like, hi, are you here for the meetup? She's like, what is it? I'm like, well, there's a meetup here about a cryptocurrency, HEX. And she's like, is it open for anybody? Well, yeah, whatever. She's like, okay. So she launched into this meetup or whatever, and I was just like, hold on, this is surreal. Like she by herself and just kind of whatever, and invites herself in. Okay, cool. So then now I'm still looking at the clock and looking at the number of people who are here and being like, all right, well, like. To me, this feels like maybe it's going to disappoint Richard because I had thought that he maybe would expect more people than 12. But I know that he's gone to other cities and has only had, 12 people who've been able to make it. And then like 3 minutes till, like every Danishman, man walks right in the door and shows up as if like, and the next thing you know, the room is full and we're definitely over 100 people that have attended this meetup, right? So like that, so it was like, wow, okay. So Richard comes out and Richard gives his, his talk and then he opens the floor to questions. And the very first question is from whom?
It's got to be
the random woman who walked in the door. I have no idea what the whole thing was about. So she has the courage and the strength to stand up to the microphone, and you know what she says? She says, I've been using Twitter for the last 10 years. I've been watching YouTube since its beginning. Why is this the very first time I'm ever hearing about HEX?
I remember that.
What a brilliant question. What an incredible...
We could have scripted that, really.
No! There's so much courage that it took for her to just like straight up by herself walk out of the lobby into this meetup in a very swanky hotel in Copenhagen, I might add, right? Like this isn't just like some random Ramada that somebody's, like looking for something to do, like very purposeful, and just walked right in, and then being the person to stand up and be the very first question and maybe because she didn't read the room or didn't read, who he is and where he is in this space, that she would have the courage to even ask him that in that moment. But it just was fantastic. I mean, it's just the serendipity of it all was just absolutely fantastic. And And we know that, there are countless others that are awaiting us in discovery as we continue to create this piece together. But that was one moment that definitely stood out. That and Richard, as we did the promotional photography shoot the following morning, where, we're draping him in all of his wardrobe and clothing and had the fog machine going. And we had we had Freddie Quotes, pumping through the speakers and the whole scene going or whatever. And Richard going from moments of just absolutely owning it to then feeling so over the top ridiculous, right? Like, and the emotional swings that he was on in like moments of vulnerability and then owning it, and then moments of vulnerability and owning it or whatever. And I that's one of the things that I appreciate about him, is that I feel like that is true of his nature, that like there are moments where he would completely own something, and there are other moments that that he's living in a moment of uncomfortability or vulnerability that, he might not welcome otherwise, but he handles it all, right? He just embraces it and he goes with it. So that definitely those two moments come to mind with regard to the Copenhagen trip in particular.
That's too cool, because I remember watching that live stream and I remember that question. I was like, wow, like for gatekeeping just alone, like that could not have been scripted any better. And knowing, where she came from, it legit, like she showed up. That's awesome.
Walked right in the door. I was just like, good on you. Good on you. I was like, and frankly, in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, this is like a bit refreshing, because we could use additional ladies as a part of this community, as a part of this story, as a part of, right? Like it just really it's easy to identify just how heavy we are in male participation here. So
99.9.
99.9.
Basically.
Thomas wants to know if we get a peek at the blooper reel on this show one day. So yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It's an interesting.
We'll negotiate it.
Yeah, I was just saying. And historically, those don't really get made in docs, because it's not as if somebody did something that was, you know what I mean, not scripted. Like, you know what I mean, or that they messed up in something that was meant to be scripted. But there might be some very funny non-story relevant moments that we could cut some stuff together on. So.
That'd be great.
Well, whatever comes of it, we are all looking forward to it. So thank you so much for taking the time to come on here and join us and enlighten this audience. I'm sure there's tons of overlap with other live streams, but for those who haven't, your positive comments in the chat. And thanks again, man, for coming by and taking the time.
Thank you all, guys. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves.
Take care, man.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
All the best.
Sure, man.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Yo, what a surprise, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Too cool.
Yeah, great.
Never know what to expect here on Happy Hour.
Heck yeah.
Well,
Heck yeah,
do you know
that's
what's funny, right? So I knew I'd seen your show somewhere before you messaged me. It was the fucking hedge fund manager with when Richard Hart jumped in. I watched that live. I was working at the time. I was like driving. I shouldn't have really been watching it. I just remember seeing Richard. He'd been shitting on Hex for ages. Richard Hart enters the chat. It's like, oh shit, it's about to go down. That was a brilliant stream. That I literally watched that earlier again today because I forgot how good that was, man. That's history right there. You're in a Toyota and I'm in a castle.
That was the moment.
One of his best quotes ever.
Yes. Yeah. And that wasn't even a happy hour. It was just kind of one of a midweek special show that happened to come together. I'm trying to work it out with Cody. He's a very busy guy himself, but coordinating something with him and Richard right now is about impossible. But I know Tobin, who was on last week's happy hour, he has reached out to Richard. So I'll know Richard has probably like 1,000 messages in his Telegram that he hasn't checked. So maybe I'll have to try to bump him and be like, hey, look for this guy, because he has responded every now and then to some people in the community that he does recognize. So we'll see about that. A very important question in the chat for Vince. Vince from Alchemist Jess. What do you think of all this, Vince?
In regards to the documentary?
The documentary. What are your takes, vibes on it?
Yeah, well, I just think it's really amazing that they jumped on this so early in Hex, and like Whale said earlier in the chat too, it's they're documenting this history in real time. So yeah, that's really awesome, and hope we all get to make it in the doc ourselves too.
Yeah, there's an interesting point because it's like I was talking with Freddie. He was on our Foover's Eulogy pre-show before the Discourse Syndicate one, and it was interesting talking to him because he made a great point in the production of the music video, and it's like I made it a point to at least get everybody, all the OGs that showed up to that video shoot, at least a shot in the music video. And I was like, that's really awesome of you. And that's, that was done right. Axis was, everybody, Fed, his profile picture, Dancing with the Shield was just outstanding.
That was
kind of Bastard took it down from his wall from the thumbnail, but it's all right. We'll put it back up there in a future episode. But so I you touched on a good point there, Vince, because I think it's like, I want to at least see a face of a Crypto Coffee who was there. And, he was the first guy I streamed with. Like, he invited me on his channel. Of course, you got, the Gibbons like RG and, Kinetics and guys like that. But you got to get like a Johnny Chaos in there too. Like, all these names come to mind. It's just like, man, I just a face on a screen, as an ode to these, OGs would be absolutely awesome. So they know what they're doing. I'm not gonna,
for sure,
comment on it too much or tell them what to do. The way that sizzle reel came out, it is in such good hands. So
we're in great hands. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, that was part of why I was excited to be a part of it too. It's because I think that I'd like to see everyone get their dues that had a chance in all of this as well, and making it happen. There's definitely some characters who, like, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. And so I'm sure that seeing them on their at least get a cameo spot or a clip or whatever will be great to see. I think everybody. It's just, it's and when you start to think about it too, there's a lot of really great characters along the way that have really, really helped to foster an awesome community. There's only a few of us to start, but it's grown pretty exponential in the past couple years.
Yes, Motley Investor. It's Cabana.
Cabana.
And it was not me. Thanks.
That was me, and I've had a couple beers. That was totally my bad. And I've been chatting with them on Telegram, trying to book, because Kinetics. I've been talking to Kinetics, and he wants me to talk to Grant and Patrick. So yeah, that was totally my bad. I apologize.
I will be awaiting your apology, Motley Investor. Thank you.
Awkward.
Moving on.
Yeah.
So,
what's up next on the agenda?
What is up next on the agenda? How about this fun nugget here, shared by our very own Senior Chaos?
Yeah.
So we have a suit update. They have responded because they were uncertain as if they were going to respond or not. No default judgment. If we didn't scare them, no comments. We would be filing to seize their assets today. Now it is an active case, and now their bills are starting to run up. No more news until the gavel drops. All right.
Wow. That is nuts.
Yep. And reading further in the comments, he was answering different questions as best as he could, I guess. But he was saying, I forget what he called their lawyer, but kind of like a discount lawyer at the last second, and that they, didn't really take this whole thing seriously, and now it's serious. So we'll see. Redbird Discovery. I'm not a lawyer, but I would assume that once the case is taken, I think that's part of the process. So just wanted to share that little nugget in case anyone missed it this week. And now,
Curious what you guys think, just quickly on this one. What will happen if CoinMarketCap list Hex properly? What do you think will happen? Like if they just put it on number 1, number 2, or number 3 or whatever straight away. Like what the fuck will happen, man? Like it's gonna be a cascade.
I'd say there'd be some green candles somewhere along the way.
Yeah. But some big green candles.
That's a big if, though. I mean, I can't believe they responded, though. I thought they were trying to play the whole jurisdiction-less company that doesn't have a country that responds to any courts. I thought that's what CZ and his boys were doing. So I'm shocked that they actually picked a lawyer and are going to kind of fight. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I am not a law student, and I don't pretend to be, but I think they would have had to, unless they wanted a default judgment for us. Now, I don't know what that entails. I mean, the lawyers in the chat can fill me in, but that wouldn't have been good for them anyway. So maybe they just...
If they want to continue to operate and do business in the United States, they probably have to, at some point in time, say something or have a response to a legitimately filed lawsuit from legitimate lawyers with what seems to be a very legitimate concern. I mean, so like those are all, you know, I'm not sure, you know, like as much as they want to claim like they're entity-less, I mean, all the sorts of stateless kind of thing, organizations that do that kind of stuff, you know, tend to, lose their ability to operate in jurisdictions that don't want to have them around. And so like, that would be not exactly, an optimum for their business, you know? So I think that at some point in time, you can only laugh it off for so long, you know?
Yeah. If they have a US based LLC or company here, but as far as just the .com, I mean, they could run a .com out of any country and just say, hey, you know, fuck you guys. Like, we're not from America. We don't care. Like, screw you. You can't sue us. I thought that's what they were trying to do. And they just kind of shuffle around. But this is great. I think, I mean, I kind of agreed with Randy Hilarski. You know, he's like, don't bring government into your business. Like, you don't want them to help. Like, adding courts and government isn't going to help. But I don't know. Maybe the tides are turning. Maybe we will see some action against some known bad actors in the space. Because definitely, I think Binance and CoinMarketCap, they're bad.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you can't say, like, it's not really entering it into your business in the sense that you know, what somebody does with their gains in the Hex community isn't what Richard's doing or whatever. It's really not. You know, if the suit is legitimate. It doesn't have to be coming from him. It actually would probably hold more weight if it is coming from from harmed community members. You know, so I think that in the end, I think that this is something that should happen, and I'm looking forward to seeing what does happen. I mean, I agree. I'm not always asking to go and tell the lunch lady what happened, but. I mean, sometimes you get a broken bone, and I can't pop that back into the socket by my own. So we're gonna have to call the lady. You know.
Do any of you guys know the CoinMarketCap response? Like, why is it that they say? Is it? I think I heard this before. Something to do with the trading volume isn't high enough, so that's why they won't list it there, or what?
They initially had said that it was because they didn't there wasn't enough verified, exchange data from it, but yet 2 of their partner exchange verified exchanges list Hex. So it's like, which is it?
Yeah. It's obviously gatekeeping. It's very obvious.
Yeah.
I think what their new story now is they reduced the supply of the coins from the OA because they take those out of circulating, and those are founders coins. Yeah. Quote.
But even with that, it still would be like 7th or 8th or something.
Yeah, they have it manually stuck to numbers.
Yeah, it won't move from 201. It will just stay there forever.
Correct.
And yet they don't do the same thing with Bitcoin and Satoshi's.
Yeah, I mean, if you took Satoshi's coins out of it, then their market cap gets reduced a lot, right?
Exactly. There you go. Yep. Playing favorites.
It's just unfair, biased. They're just dicks, mate.
It's propaganda. CoinMarketCap is propaganda. If you're going to CoinMarketCap, you're listening to CZ. And you know what he does to his users? He does that Bitcoin red candle that was like a couple days or a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Bro, like what was that? Like
all your leveraged orders?
Thieves. So
I bet
hope
if you
John
had a
Case
limit
gets them.
order down there though to buy, it wouldn't have.
That's what I was saying, dude.
I bet it wouldn't have you could have had limit orders at 25K on there and it wouldn't have triggered.
Never fills you. Yep, probably.
Yeah, but
probably.
it would have liquidated everyone.
Yeah.
Yes,
they're
correct.
dicks, mate. The exchanges are there to take your money away from you. This is how I learned that the hard way before I got into Hex, and that's why I moved over to something like this because
It's seizing
scam
particular.
wicks, man.
Because like the Gemini, like Winklevoss twins, I trust them. Gonna be honest, they've been Bitcoin freaking millionaires for a long time, bro. They bought way back in the day. Those guys are smart. They're from New York. They're registered here in the States. Like I do business with Gemini. Fine, I'll buy some ETH or Bitcoin or whatever. They're cool. You know, Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, he's all right. I remember watching his interview with Kevin Rose, like before like Coinbase was even invented. So, you know, like it's like there are some good actors and there are some bad actors, and you got to know the difference. You know, so I'm cool with Gemini and Coinbase for me, just as like my ETH dealer. Like literally, they're just an ETH dealer. It's like that's it.
My ETH dealer, bro.
ETH, man.
Literally, that's what I look at. Like, give me that ETH, bro. You got that ETH. That's all I want. I'm gonna give you some cash. I'm gonna wait 7 days. Give me that ETH, and then I withdraw it, and I'm out. Like,
I'm out.
Do we think our friend Unwrecked Pirate has an ETH dealer?
yeah, totally. I think Australia's
he
got a bunch
definitely
of
has an
ETH
ETH
dealers down there.
He's got a few.
Shout out to Unwrecked
Everybody should have
Pirate.
a few.
Yeah.
Everybody should have two. I always recommend 2 exchanges in your jurisdiction where
Yeah.
you get that ETH when you need it. Hopefully someday PulseChain.
Get that
Yes, sir.
when you need it. That fix.
Need the
So as we continue on Speculation Station, forgive me if this was addressed already, but why was Richard Hart basically reading his birth certificate details on Twitter the other day? It felt strange.
It was strange. It was strange.
You know, people ask apparently.
Yeah.
But who
People
says a
ask.
birth time?
11/18, huh?
There was a lot of weird cryptic things that went out, and I think me and the guys in my the Hex UK chat, we were probably reading into it a little bit too deeply, like. But there were some like cryptic things, like one of them, you know, the what was it, 11/18? That points to 18 of 11. You know, so it could be like potential snapshot date. And then there was there was a maths equation that we did where it put it to the 2nd of December. But then there was another one where if you added the minutes of there was this number that he put, which was like 01, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember exactly what it was, right? But if you added the minutes to the time that he put on the date that he put, it was almost bang on New Year's Eve, like 12 a.m. which I thought was quite interesting as well. Like no one really took with me. That's just my speculation that there's something about New Year's Eve. I don't know what, but there's something about that. And you heard it here first, guys. If something happens, it was my numerology skills.
Yes. And that's what that
thank
is.
you
That's
for
just
blessing us
numerology and
with that.
astrology.
Yeah.
Because I saw that
Yeah, I
tweet
think,
even from VC. Like Motley thought, like, yeah, next month. But I had to reply to that. I'm like, lols, guys. Like, it's not next month, man. Like, it's not ready. Like, that's some funny speculation. I like
Someone
that.
told me that there was a lot of stuff in the GitLab that needed addressing.
Well, I mean,
we're about to get into that.
There's a lot.
Yeah. Here we got the right man here for
I'm
it
gonna
as well.
I grab a drink real quick for this segment.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what? I'm going to take this opportunity and just be right back myself for 1 minute as well. Just excuse me.
All right. Hey, original hosts. How are you guys?
Hey, what's up?
Hello. Good.
Got a couple items left here on the agenda before we sign off for the night. But yeah, anybody get some Hex lately? Stake out some ETH fees and
I did
early in the
get
morning?
some Hex recently. I felt very good about my Hex purchase at 23.5 cents, and then it went lower.
Yeah.
But I'm stoked. I was happy to buy there. I think it's a great spot. I think that I might even have a little powder looking for something lower. So if we hit it, I mean, maybe there's a limit order there waiting. But you know how it is. That's a recipe for a nice turnaround candle. So I'm excited though. I'm excited. I think it's all good.
Nice.
Yeah, we're just grinding along this bottom here. If we can hold this, like I said earlier in the show, oh man, long term, that's the floor, I think. And we're wait. There we go. So,
Yeah, my last buy was at 30 cents, so still waiting for
Ooh.
recovery.
We're on a big K unboxing. What do we got here?
Oh,
Careful which box, Big K. Careful which box.
I got something I can bust out.
There we go. Haven't had a Cabana Vince joke off for ages. You are correct, Vince.
that is
When
true.
are you going to have some jokes? I have, full disclosure, have jokes at the ready. I'm waiting for Vince to, say he's ready. But
it's a little tougher for me to find good jokes these days. I feel like I've used them all up already.
Nonsense. Oh, what do we have here, Big K?
So today we've got off of the new Louis Vuitton Rainbow line, we have a fantastic tiger striped tie-dye rainbow raincoat from Louis Vuitton. This thing is waterproof and stylish as ever. It just fits me super perfect. It's nice and loose fitting. Has this kick-ass little rain flap over here to keep you dry, and I mean some pretty stellar tiger stripe coloring on this bad boy. I mean, I'm a pretty big fan. If you want to stand out and look like a boss while you're still, while everyone else is getting wet, then I highly recommend this fantastic number right here. Just picked it up over at the Louis Vuitton on Michigan Avenue in Chicago. There was a fantastic little trip. Shout out to my girls over there. They're kicking ass and taking names. This is definitely one of my favorite pieces that I got recently. And I had to make sure that, I've heard that London is a drizzly place. So, I felt like I needed to make sure to have a little bit of fashion to go along with my rainproofing attire. So if y'all were looking for something fire to make sure you keep yourself dry, this is something that I definitely recommend. They do also have a like a collared shirt of this too that was in, but and then a sweater too. But this is super light, like I said, lightweight, and you could wear it if it's not even too hot or anything too. So yeah, highly recommend. Today's unboxing comes in at, I believe, I think, let's look at the receipt. Here, $28.80 today. So if you're looking for a nearly $3,000 raincoat, there's one right there.
Alrighty then. Thank you for that update.
Nice.
Yes.
Like your threads, man.
Thank you very much, man. Like I said, we'll get a chance to check it out in person when we're chilling in London.
Do you know what? I'm so excited now because I really didn't think I was going to be able to go, and then just today managed to sort things out, and I'm fucking going, guys.
That's so awesome.
Gonna see all you guys. Are you guys all going? Who's here now? David, Big K.
I'm going for sure. I don't know if these gentlemen are going, but I will definitely be there. I know Motley will be there as well.
Motley will be there.
Yes.
Well, we will share a beer soon.
Grant gave me the FOMO. I'm still on the fence. I'm on the fence because I want to boycott it just because,
tickets, man. Wait, so you guys are all? Are you all in America? Yeah. So do you have to quarantine when you get back or something? Is that what?
No,
we'll go in there.
When you're going
there.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, you have to do. There's what is the UK's test and release thing? So you only have to do 5 days if you go straight in the UK. But I've also heard that Ireland has even. Yeah, I've heard that Ireland has even less restrictions, and then it's like a free zone to go in between them, so you could go in there and get tested and then come over.
In Dublin and take a puddle jumper over, and I'm cool.
Yeah, something like that. So I've heard, like I said, do your own research before you go listen to my goofiness. But it's the way I look at it. For those who are on the fence about it, is like I said, Richard's
I'm on the fence. Tell me.
He's willing to do it himself, and he sees the value in getting the good footage for and putting this event on there. So I feel like if there's a time to be concerted as a team, and when even if it's not the best of situation to have to deal with, is that kind of thing that I definitely want to do all together and make sure that whoever wants to go makes it happen and can come. So
it's gonna be a piece of history, man.
Yeah. I mean, because like I said, I will be honest with you. The things that I look for doing in the future are not going to be 500-person events. These are going to be much larger things that I'll be putting out in the US and going forward. So I think that this. I'm not saying that there won't be chances for private meet and greets and things like that. But this is definitely going to be a pretty cool, special kind of thing to be a part of as a group. And you know, like I know that there's some fun events that are definitely going to be happening on the front and back side of it. That like a couple things I'm trying to put together too. So like I'll be staying for a few days afterwards, you know, to hang out and do some sightseeing and touring around and flexing on
Nice.
UK as much as I possibly can. So it should be good. Should be good. I think, like I said, I think everyone that wants to go should, you know. If it's, you know, if it's too much, I fully understand, and there will be other cool shit too. You know, I mean, I know that I'm already in the works on a few different things.
Even over here, I'm talking to a few guys, and we're on about doing like, you know, you guys are doing a road trip over in the US. We're thinking about maybe doing something similar, but more of a just like go to the pub kind of thing, a bit more British. We just meet and greet,
bro.
different corners of the country, and just see who turns up. You know, we'll announce it like a month before. We'll just do like a little, you know, just a little meet and greet things. And as it builds up, you know, it might end up being that it becomes bloody huge, and we end up having to do larger events, which I hope it does, because then it means that our bags are going to be pumped. So yeah, it's just about spreading the word, man, as many ways as we can. We're all in now. We're all working right now, but for a cause that we want to be working for. So.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's I can't remember the word that Grant used, but like, you know, it's enlightenment. That's what it is. Like it's super light. Like the events that I do, I mean, are going to be cross promotional events. So like, sure, there'll be lots of branding of our choice branding and reasons to use Hex or have be involved or learn about it, but these are also events that will appeal to masses of people, because that's what people want, is they want entertainment that they can all you know. It
looks like we've got a unanimous we're okay with the pub in the chat. There's a lot of guys who were down for that. So it was British focus, simple, you know. We don't need anything too flash. Just
we do the same over here. They go to the pub every night after the US tour, that's for sure. Now I'm taking them to the pub here in Boston and Albany. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh, it's cool, man. But one thing I did want to mention while I was on here is just, and I kind of touched on it earlier, is the kind of community aspect of this crypto or this coin or whatever we're doing here. I've never walked into a place that just had like so much support and everyone's like backing each other. Everyone doesn't matter what you do, people just support you and they want you to be successful, as long as because we're all on the same team, right? And we're all just fighting for the same
everybody
cause.
Wins in Hex.
It's such a beautiful thing. It's just rewarding people who are willing to believe in the same system, you know.
You don't have to compete. Like when you onboard somebody, they're going to make money too and get rich. Like we're all going to get rich, and the more people who do it, the more rich you get. So it's a win-win-win. Yeah,
it compounds.
There you go. Yeah. Drink, Jess.
Such a terrible drinking game.
One thing as well, you know.
I think we may have started something here. It's like Vince is going to say something. Chat's going to fill up with drink.
Yeah. One thing I was going to say as well is anyone who's like down on their money at the moment, just go to is it stakehex.calc or something? Is that the one? Where you can do the calculator, the stake hex calculator. I can't remember the URL for it now. Surely you guys know.
Where you just paste in your address and it shows your ladder?
No, but
today one,
yeah,
right?
I think it does do that, but you can also just do a fake test, base it on how many, how much you think it's going to be.
stakehex.today.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. So go on that and put the price at like a 2x from whatever it was that you bought it, and look at what a 15-year stake gives you. It's still a fucking great investment, even if it doesn't make you absolutely billions of dollars, right? It's still a good investment, and it will make you more money than if you put it in like the S&P 500 or whatever. And that's based on a doubling, which on average it's been happening every 49 days or something like that. So even if it only doubles once in 15 years, you're still making an absolutely amazing amount of money out of it at the end. So it's really not always about the price. You're going to get that anyway, but people just have to believe that even just as is, really, it's still going to do very well for them. So just don't forget that. That's
why Hex is the ultimate play. Like for Raoul Paul and those guys, and he's all about the big play. Like you said it, you summarized it. That's it. even if we double, you're still getting 40% per year if you're staked out. And if you stake out longer than 10, it's going to be even more than that, 50 or 60% more coins per year, plus a double, and boom, you win. You beat every market ever.
Also, is it like the last 2 years of your stake in a 15-year one, you make like double the overall or something like that?
If T shares are really as deflationary as Crypto Sparbook, the guys who are doing the US Road Tour, like they at the first Hex Digital Conference last January, they showed that chart of the T shares. Eventually, T shares, there's going to be only 1 million, like or 11 million, maybe 12 million. And then the T shares get too expensive where people can't even afford one anymore, like at all, ever. Like even if it's like, you know, you're mad rich, like you can't buy a T share. So they start to drop off. And then your APY in those 15 years, dude, it takes off at 10 years. It's like exponential. That's the power.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
And then you multiply that times the price appreciation, dude. Like it's like, so now you're cashing out your, you know, it's like Bitcoin today. It's like, okay, you can cash out at 60 grand. Oh, plus you had your bonus of all your interests. And then it's a multiplier.
No one's ever going to sell all of it, are they? Like anyone who's in it for like, I don't know, 7-8 years plus, they're just never going to sell all of it. Yeah, they'll take some profit, but they might only have to take, honestly, they might only have to sell like 0.5% of their bag to be like absolutely sorted for life. Like, why would they even give it up?
Yeah, that's a great point. I've thought about that. It's like, if you're a whale in the system, like how much, I mean, a whale or super shark or whatever, let's, you know, those levels will be beyond taken care of, you know, in the future. But why would you sell your entire bag? Like you were saying, like you can keep the system healthy in a sense. You're going to have more than you'll ever need. And you can lock that, you know, lock those coins away, take care of the system, and then take whatever you want. You know, if you're at that level, you're golden forever, really.
I know a Bitcoin whale, like a big whale in Bitcoin, and he's had it for forever, since like probably before Richard Hart got in and whatever, and he just will never sell it. He just won't sell it. It's done too well for him. It just seems ridiculous. I mean, he's divesting a little bit. He's having a little dabble in stuff, but he's not selling it ever, because and you can't convince him. He got it so cheap, and now it's worth so much. There's no way, and this is what Hex people are going to be like in 7, 8, 9 years. They are not going to sell it, because look how well it's done for them. I mean, if you imagine that even if it's at like, say, $1,000 or something for one Hex, it's still going to be just so much. They're going to never part with that. It's going to continue making them so much money forever. Like they will never, you know, their family will never have to work again.
If you do, pass it down to children. Like I got 3 boys, I'm gonna give it to my 3 boys, and then
I got
I'm
a little
roll
boy.
over
My
my
15-year
stake
stake goes out to him. Yeah,
exactly. Yep. So just roll it into your family and give it to your children, the grandchildren, and it'll generate for many years to come.
Yes.
Generational
All right.
wealth.
Well, we are moving on to the. Hold on, let me get the branding right over there.
Oh,
there we go. All right.
That was a nice little touch.
DFed, we have entered the PulseChain portion of the program. I have seen, I think I joked about it before, but everybody's like giving guesses on, you know, fork dates now. Hexo put one out for like June of next year. Kinetics was on last week's show. He was thinking like late Q1. I think at maybe weeks ago, you know, you speculated something like February, and, you know, I kind of went along with that. I've seen very bullish predictions, kind of like a Randy Halarski-ish, if you will, for December 2nd with 2 chains. So I really like that one. I've seen Motley with even a more bullish prediction than that. Him and Wendy's, I think, with like just like 2 weeks away or something like that. How are you feeling? What kind of vibe? Are you still February? Are you feeling a little more bullish on we could start sooner? What's going on?
So, I just want to say first, I love last night Hexologist and Motley, like trying to guess, like, you know, looking at the astrology from Richard's birthday and the time and the hour. Like, So yeah, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about November 18th. I'm not seeing it. So
Yeah.
I'm sticking with early Feb. I'm sticking with like February 1st, 2020. So that's like 60 days from now. I want to say about 2 months from now.
No, but is that 60 or 90 days? 90 days, right?
Is it 90? Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh no,
Yep,
you're right.
yep.
Yeah, that's just about 80 something.
No, yeah. So like I'm thinking Feb 1st. I can, if I had to guess, like it's still Feb 1st.
I mean, there is a whale out there that still has dumped heavily before, that has one more stake that comes up in January, that we would love to see them dump their shit before they love to see them left behind. That'd be really nice. I mean, but that's that's just me mystically dreaming.
Yeah, more pain may bring that. Who knows? But I'm guessing that's my guess.
60 to 90 days sounds good. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep. Yeah. And we had a little bullish news the other day. Richard's tweet was awesome. So they're going to be resetting the testnet. They found an issue with the validator and delegator smart contract. So just the 3 servers that they have running in the Amazon cloud, those are the only ones that were actually mining blocks. And it was not possible for people like me to add mine to the list. It just wasn't working. So they've fixed that on the back end in the private like dev-owned core dev testnet. And then they're going to reset the public testnet. And then we're going to start over from scratch. And then they're going to introduce those changes. And then we should be able to try it out. And then people can, I think, vote for my delegator soon and try it out.
Vote for Dave. I think we saw it earlier.
Yeah, man, vote for me. Totally. I'm going to be hopefully running those decentralized. I got 2 locations within the States that I'll be running delegator servers and 2 different clusters, and we're going to try it out, see how it goes. And
My
then that's
goes to you, sir.
Cheers, man. I appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody out there who I've gotten a lot of messages and a lot of people saying that they're going to delegate to me. And I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm going to try to give back the highest percentage fees we can do. And yeah, man, let's, this is how you're going to be able to stake your pulse and make extra money, man. Like this is amazing. Yeah. So it's a great opportunity for everybody. We all win. So I'm super excited, but I think 90 days, I hope I'm wrong. And I hope Hexo's wrong. So I hope it's not June. But it could be. Like I don't want to be bearish, but like let me give you like some insight on like I waited for 2 years for Hex. Like I was watching Richard long before that, and like it took 2 years from the time he had the idea in his head to the launch day. We waited 4 weeks. He's like 4 more weeks, guys. 2 years later. So patience.
That's where the meme comes from, right?
Yeah, that's why it's 4 more weeks, dude. It's like that was 2 years. We waited 4 more weeks at a time, bro. It was 24 months I waited. Then Hex launched. And then how could I not like day one FOMO? Richard's like, look at this chart, guys. Don't do this. I'm like, bro, it's been 2 years. Take my ETH. Like, take my ETH. So that's what happened, I see people in the chat tonight like, DFed, take my pulse. It's like, dude, like, thankfully with Pulse, you get to keep your keys. And you just have to vote. And I'm going to do a video on how to do it, and I'll show everybody. So it's going to be dope.
I like Brizology's. David's validator is my lighthouse. So. Thanks, Briz.
Nice. I appreciate that, Brizology. So
we think.
Yeah, man. So another round of testing coming soon, and that's going to be exciting.
Nice. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to, like, as I think I mentioned last week, 2 weeks ago, I had some Tezos maybe a year or so ago, maybe more, and of course selling it for Hex. But what I liked about that website that coin is there were websites built and they were validator essentially ranking websites. And they would tell you, this one's maxed out, this one's in this country, all sorts of really cool stats. So we're going to have somebody out there, I think there are going to be multiple people will create PulseChain validator monitoring websites of the 33. And we need some really good names for that website. I'm just saying community would like 33 pulses. That'd be a bit much, right? But I don't know. But,
great idea.
Yeah,
I'm meeting with Hex Live tomorrow to have dinner. And I actually want to work with him on doing like a website where it makes it very easy to vote for my validator, where it's like kind of one click. versus the regular interface, just to make it simple. You can just pick out, it's maybe like a sliding bar or a little box. You type in the number, because I tested it out and I delegated one pulse to each of Richard Hart's validators, and it let me do 3 different delegations out of one wallet. So I think you don't have to do your whole bag, and you can pick multiple servers for part of your bag. So you can spread your delegation across multiple validators, which is great. Like, you can diversify.
Yeah. Love it. Rinsky's had a question. So the next, or just comment, I guess. So next testnet is closest to mainnet. We'll see if PulseChain writes. Hopeful. I hope we don't end up doing a version 1.3 draft final changes. So, we don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, not sure.
No rush, guys. No, I mean, the only rush is if you got stakes come in and you can't afford the ETH fees.
The ETH, and that's the thing, though. Is
It
like,
sucks.
you know,
It does suck, man.
Yeah.
People are bleeding. People are bleeding stakes right now.
Yeah,
and I feel sorry for these guys.
I've got bleeders that
it.
It's not worth the ETH. Like, literally, the ETH costs too much than what you got. Yeah, you just let them bleed. It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some too.
Let's see. What will the launch of MVP or complete with bridges and Uniswap forks? Richard Hart has been clear about MVP, minimum viable product, and does not want to drag it. The main dev hinted on early release too. I did hear that in the PulseChain chat. That's somebody posted a video. But any comment on that one, David?
Yeah. So that lead dev, I'm not sure if that was Shane who did that. I think
I'm not sure.
I think it was Bretep. He's not wrong. Like, it depends on which parts of the MVP they want, right? Because like, we can go with just the chain. That's awesome. Like, that's the minimum. But that bridge, I'm not in the private dev chat for the bridge, so I'm not sure what status the bridge is on. And then the Uniswap fork, I'm also not in that private chat. I'm just more on the chain's private chat, and that's still being worked on. So I would expect, though, that the bridge would come, if not with, immediately after, and then the Uniswap fork probably after the bridge. But then again, Richard does want to do that contract that balances all the liquidity pools. That's a whole nother beast, man. That's why it's going to be till February, dude. Like, there's a lot of shit that got to get done, man. There's a lot of stuff.
Finbear has offered his input. Drink up, bitches.
Finbear, man. Yo, this guy gets about more than anyone. Cheers. He's in my conspiracy chat, so I set up a little Hex conspiracy.
And he's on every
chat.
tangent
There's
stream.
a lot of us.
Finbear is a worker, dude. Finbear's watching 24/7.
Yeah.
Yo, this guy.
Good man.
He got a hat like mine. Last time I did a hangout, he jumped on, did a video call, and he was wearing a hat like this. He was like, "Hey, I just want to show you my hat." Nice, man. And then,
I like it.
And then he went.
We gotta get you, Finbear, and Unwrecked on a stream together.
Yo, I'd love to do one with Unwrecked.
Yeah, Mango Junk.
Maybe we'll do a happy hour.
That guy's a fucking mad bastard. I love him.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, PulseChain sounds really exciting. I almost forget that it exists sometimes because Hex is just so good. It's just like, I mean, obviously we sacrificed for it and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm planning just to hold that shit for ages, man.
Yeah, was it on your stream that I was watching? You it's kind of lost in the whole thing. Like, it's not top of mind really for that stack. Because you can actually see the price action in Hex and it's real, but until Pulse actually becomes something of value, I really don't think about it that much. Like, I don't, because you can't assign a coin number to it or value to it. I mean, you can look at all the spreadsheets that have been done, which are great, but it's not really real unless it's on that exchange and it's actually trading. Yeah,
it's gonna do well when it comes out, but at the end of the day, we gave the money away for no expectation of any
no
Hex, man. I gave
expectations.
Hex away, bro.
Sacrifice.
I didn't even give away money. I gave away Hex, man. Like it's my favorite meme. I think Hexologist did it. It's
Yes,
like
the
Richard
Hexologist.
Hart, smartest man in the world, makes most appreciating asset of all time, convinces you to give it back.
Give it back. Yeah, I remember
Oh
that.
my god!
I mean,
genius.
to be honest, my sacrifice bag compared to my hex bag was like so little because it was just what I had liquid. It was like nothing really, but it's still going to be, you know, I do feel sad that I gave away the hex, but it's just a little dabble really. But I feel like even just a few $100 or something in Pulse, if you sacrifice day 1 through 17 or something, you're chilling, mate.
Oh, bro,
Yeah.
you're
What
like
do
a
you guys think
Genesis
about the
fan.
fact that people are still sacrificing now? Don't you think that's just bringing the ceiling price up so much? Like, sorry, the floor price, should I say? That it's just like the more. So people who are buying now want their money back, right? They're not going to sell it until they at least get their money back. So they're going to be waiting. Right?
Yes,
Well,
I
that's
just
the
think
hope
it's,
anyway. But
it's not a smart move. I think
Yeah.
It is dumb, but
the
I like it.
crypto
I'll allow
heartbeat.
it.
I think one of Crypto Heartbeat's videos, it was a day or two ago, and I think he was just like, "You're just stupid." I think that was like a quote, and I was just like,
Unless you haven't done any, unless you know, if you haven't sacrificed at all, do $100 or less.
right, and that's
But-
what Lit has said. Yeah.
But as
Just
far as
for
that
the
floor
experience.
price, I don't think it's going to bring it'll bring the floor price up a little bit, but what it's really going to do is it's going to give those people maximum pain at the beginning, because there's going to be whales and people who sacked a lot of hex in the first 5 days. And, you know, like I know what, you know, like even my sack, like I know what it's worth. I know how much I sacked. I know how much I expect. And I know I'm going to hold forever, but I'm a different story. But those people who sacked later, like, no, they're going to experience maximum pain because Pulse is going to dump it. It's going to come out, it's going to pump, and then it's going to dump. Because all those early people, they're going to get mad gains and they're going to dump it. And then anybody way late who sacked way big, they're going to feel it. But just hold and delegate. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, Blue Bum on the Aussie stream, I think it was a couple weeks ago, brought up another great point, and this is all ties into the theory of it all. It's like, you know, PulseChain, like the sacrificers, so many of them were hexkins. So the mindset is there to hold for the long term. You see the big picture. You already have hex. So how big is this, you know, supposed dump going to be? He's like,
Pulse doesn't force people. Like you know, most people say they're hexikins, and you think you're tough and you think you're cool, but you can't. This stake doesn't last. You can unstake it and change your mind the next day.
This is true.
So we'll see how diamond people's hands really are.
Yeah, but I guess
ever.
the point that he was making was that versus other coins, you are coming from the majority of these sacrificers are coming from a community with a certain mindset.
Yes.
And that's what I appreciated or took from it. And it's like, okay, well, that's a really good point, because you might not see as big of a dump with this as you would other coins coming from all, you know, the vast universe of crypto coming in. You have a specific set that is long-term minded, delayed gratification. Yes, I mean, we still have people dumping hex, but the
overall hexikins have
majority.
hands though.
Yeah.
I would say we're the best as far as a community that's known for holding, and that's kind of our motto. But we are the best, guaranteed.
Yeah.
One more note here. Oh yeah, one. Speaking of our Aussies, my man Jexa. So I want to get your take, DFed. The terminology that is being thrown around. I've heard snapshot, fork, mainnet. What do you prefer this being called? I just think it's like a fork, but what?
So do you see Jexa's video? Jexa broke it down, where he's like snapshot versus fork. People are seeing there's a file in the repository in the GitLab called snapshot that has something to do with Geth. That's got nothing to do with what's happening. It's a fork. It's a fork. It's a fork. There's no fucking snapshot. Stop saying snapshot. Like there's no snapshot. It's fork. This is a fork. We're forking ETH. We're forking ETH. There's no fork shot. Nope. There's no shot. It's just a fork. This is a fork. Like your dinner with. That's it. You know, we're having dinner, people. Like, we eat steak and forks. Use a fork, not a snapshot.
So right, okay, well that's interesting because they're like I thought that there's going to be a snapshot and then a couple of weeks later or maybe a few days later then it gets launched. So are you saying
So that's
that
a
maybe
block
it just
height.
goes?
That's an Ethereum block height,
Mm.
and that's how.
Yeah.
And that's what Richard's actually going to give us. He's going to tell us what Ethereum block height the fork will happen. Let's just call it 50. It's block 15 million of Ethereum. When that block happens, after that, ETH will keep going, and then PulseChain will be born after the 15th millionth block.
Right. Okay.
And then they go. So that's really what you're looking for, the block height.
Happening then, yeah.
And you can't, and actually we can only give an estimate because even Ethereum's blocks, they're not exactly 15 seconds. Sometimes it's 14, sometimes it's 16. So it's only like a range of like maybe a day or two. We expect this block to happen, and that's the fork. So that's how it'll go down.
Okay.
One last question from Vinny Bain. Richard also mentioned Pulse wasn't designed to pump launches. Can you explain that more?
There's nowhere to sell it. So you can't sell it. So you can't pump because nobody can buy it.
It's a good
point. You're just going to log in your MetaMask. You're going to be like, hey, I sacrificed and I have 1 million Pulse now. Great. Okay, what do I do with it? Fucking nothing. Like there's nowhere to go. Like no website uses it yet. Like literally nothing. So even after
will
Pulse
there not
launches,
be like a
Uniswap
interface or something for it where you can trade amongst the PRC20s and stuff?
I mean, if once the block height happens and the fork happens, then there's going to be you get the word snapshot, but like then there's the fork. It's still going to be a couple days to like get it up and running. Like then we have to sync our nodes to it. If they already had all that pre-designed and pre-cooked, then yeah, they could do pulse swap like hours after the fork, theoretically. But it's going to be a couple days probably. So
it's not to say that somebody else out there couldn't code their own front end for an automated market maker to work ahead of time too, though. So like there could be people doing swaps, but again, the thing that people have to remember too is exactly what you said, is that I would be very, very wary out there for anyone that thinks that they're going to transact on the network to get some kind of deal on whatever they're trying to buy early on, because none of this stuff is going to have any tangible real world value. So like you're trading quarks for widgets, and so like in that sense, you really have no idea if you're getting a good deal or not, and like until there's some sort of bridge to touch all this stuff, and so you could really put yourself in a very poor position if you don't know what you're doing. And like I don't know if anyone's going to actually fully know what they're doing at moment one either. So like
I could not agree with that more.
PHEX.
I would be
if you're to
very
sell
careful.
PHEX for Pulse on the first week, you are crazy.
Oh, that's a dangerous play.
I've heard a few random strategies like this where people are like, oh, I'm just going to move all of my PHEX to this liquidity pool and do this and that. And I'm just like, whoa.
And again, like
crazy. Don't do anything
David
like
was
that,
explaining, I mean, like the idea that they say that stuff, you're like, oh, are you going to be the one to code the front end for an automated market maker so you can do that on day one? No, okay. Well, then I think you should just shut up until someone else does that for you. None of that. It's a nice story, though.
Even I'm going to be sitting back being like, whoa, and I'm not.
I'm just going to enjoy I'm going to enjoy the show and just not do anything.
Gotta let the dust settle. You don't want to be involved in that, because if you start selling Pulse for PHEX on unit like Pulse Swap day one, and you think you're all clever, and then the price of Pulse pumps and PHEX never catches it, like we don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. It's going to be the Wild West all over again.
It's going to need like a few weeks to settle, really, isn't it? Like before, maybe even longer.
Yeah, I don't want my stakes coming out anytime around that, just because I don't want any liquid, or even if that, I'll push out stakes just to let it settle, like you're saying, Hexy, and just,
save the temptation.
Take it in.
Yeah.
And see what's going on.
It's going to be fireworks. It's going to be really fun to watch. Like that's the time where I really will enjoy watching charts all day, because it's just going to be crazy movements all over the place. And yeah, people are going to. I know a lot of people who missed the sacrifice and are going to FOMO in day one. So there is going to be this big pump on you know, as soon as people can buy it, definitely. But like you say, there will be a dump. It happens like almost all the time with these ICOs and
every
stuff, right?
coin. Look at every coin's chart. It spikes up once it lists, and then it dumps. And that's when you buy. That's the buy.
That's the time,
Just like Hex, January 5th, 2020. That was the move.
What was the time
moves.
frame from launch to that? Like 2 months?
1 month. Like 1 month.
1 month.
30 days.
1
Yep.
month. Yeah.
Yep. 30 days. So, because that's what most coins do. Legit ones that last forever, you know.
Yeah, this has got a really good use case. I mean, even just for us people who want to use Hex, it's very valuable to us guys. So, you know, even on that basis alone, it will probably do quite well. But I'm sure there are a lot of Ethereum coins that are suffering right now. People who are users all over the shot who are suffering.
Not just us. I'm sure there's other ERC20 communities out there that are going through the exact same thing. Yeah.
I just want to say, Cabana, what you said, if you got Hex stakes that have been bleeding out when PulseChain first comes out, that's actually probably the first thing you could do day one. Is if you got Pulse and you had Hex, or you have Hex stakes, you can go to go.hex.com and you can unlock your stakes.
Yep.
And that'll cost the same forever, basically. You know, the math is the math with the ETH, right? So that'll be safe. It's just unlock your stakes if you got bleeders.
Yeah, fortunately, I don't have anything or will have anything that's going to bleed. I was more thinking of just in terms of having, say, a stake. Say it is like New Year's Day, and you know, there's a stake that I have due December 30th or something like that, and you know, I end stake it. Do I want to hold that liquid and get copies of the liquid, or do I want to, like, if I really truly think, you know, New Year's Day is the date, if I knew that somehow, I would put it out another month just to keep my hands off of it and kind of, like as Hexy said, watch the fireworks take place, because I don't want to try to judge it or, you know, the risk of, you know, a big, you know, dip or huge, you know, scam wick or something like that. Not to say that there would be, but I just kind of like the hands off and let your interest accrue while you just check it out, get a grasp on it. And then once kind of like a floor has been established and you kind of have a better understanding of the price, then, you know, you can come back into the system. But there are a lot of people out there who are going to attempt to trade this and, you know, do some funky things. I'm not one of them. I'm gonna say that,
man. It's
with that,
I'm just not going to recommend that to anyone. It sounds so stupid.
Yeah, there's really a lot of people that do it.
Yeah,
it really does. Like, what if you say one guy was saying to me that he's going to sell all of his P-Hex for Pulse and then put it all into, or like make a liquidity pool or something like that. He's just going to do some liquidity between the two, right? But what he's going to get left with is the one that doesn't do the best somehow or something. It just seems like it's a way that you could lose all your money for something worse, you know, no matter what. Every way he tried to explain it to me just didn't make sense. I just really feel like the best strategy is to do nothing. You've waited this long for Pulse to launch, you might as well just chill and wait. Like David said a minute ago, it took 30 days roughly for Hex to find its bottom. That's the kind of time where you want to maybe put more money in or maybe make a play if you think, because I personally think that Hex will do better than Pulse. Not going to hate or anything, but Hex is just amazing, right? Pulse will do amazing too, but Hex is amazing. And I think that's going to be the one that does the best out of the two. I don't know whether it's P-Hex, E-Hex, whatever, but one overall, I think that will do better. But that's not to say that Pulse won't do really, really, really well. So maybe I'm going to make a play around that time just to move a bit of my Pulse into Hex or something. I'm not really sure, but I haven't thought about it properly yet. But there's just nothing. You can't do anything at the beginning, man. You're making a big risk there. You need to see what the market tells you and make a decision later.
Yeah,
Yep.
A lot of
That's the best
comments
advice.
in the chat here. Gavin, think I would stake and chill. Wake Dog, best strategy, do nothing and chill. Yeah. So speaking of,
Take it.
Delegate to me.
Delegate to David. Yes.
Delegate to Feeder.
So we had a comment on staking and chilling. I believe last night there was a stake and bake show. So that brings us to the hottest segment in entertainment, Crypto TV. Big K and D-Fed. The fuck is this?
That looks like a party right there. That looks like a party. Is what that is.
That looks like a real good time. Looks like 4 gentlemen Hexicans taking their medicine. That's what that looks like.
I believe this was taken from the very first Steak and Bake. Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
That is.
That's brilliant.
Yep. Yes, it was. Yep. It was a fun time, man. What a great show. I'm living the dream, guys. What can I say? Like, this is, I couldn't imagine a life like this. I get to stream and taste delicious cannabis and drink delicious beers and hang out with Hexicans and talk about cryptocurrency. And, you know, we're involved with the highest appreciating asset of all time ever. Like, oh, it feels good, guys. Feels good. This is what it's like to win. You know?
Yes.
I love my life. You know, that's all I can say.
Johnny Chaos has entered the chat.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey,
I got to meet him.
buddy.
That's one Hexican I have not met that I would love to.
I need to find a place where I can. Well, as soon as I get my Hex Flex going, this is something I'm definitely doing. So, like my current household situation, I got like a fairly small house, yeah, but I'm planning to move, and I'm going to get somewhere a bit bigger. And if that house is bought through Hex Gains, I'm 100% just going to get myself like a sick studio. I'm going to be blazing in there, and that will be my stream. I'll just be sat there all day blazing, like answering Hex questions and shit all day. Oh, you want to buy it? You can buy it on Pulse, man. Ethereum shit. Just go for the Pulse one. It's way better. Don't even think about it, man.
I don't have an office yet either. I feel you.
Ethereum's awful. That is all. Ethereum's awful.
Okay.
Thank you for that update. I appreciate it.
It wasn't always. I loved ETH before Richard even did, to be honest with you. Like I got rugged on a bunch of fucking shit ICO scams way back in like 2017, bro. Like that's where I got a lot of started, man. I lost so much ETH. Oh my God. Well, Richard was calling it trash. Like I was there losing it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm the Hexican I am today, because I learned those lessons.
You know,
This is true. I also lost many ETH in silly projects of that time period. But I was calling it trash the whole time I was losing money, and I was like, "This sucks," and I sold all the rest of my ETH like a dum-dum. So hey, we're gonna, there's another part of my lesson in that all.
Yeah. I mean, now it's just gas. I don't hold ETH anymore. I hold no ETH. I don't buy ETH until I need it to do a stake or lock a stake or do Uniswap. That's it. I don't buy it until the moment I need it. It is trash.
Well, that will be a nice blazing end to the show.
Yeah.
pun intended.
There we go. Pun definitely intended. So, unfortunately, Motley is not here because there is like the most epic of epic UFC cards tomorrow night. Thug Rose rematch, I think, with what's her name, Zhang, and then we got Chandler versus Gaeth G. I got Gaeth G in that one, and I don't know if Thug Rose is going to do it. I think she goes down actually. And the main event of all main events, Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. Colby talks a bunch of trash. I'd love to see him win, but I just think Usman's one of the best fighters out there right now, pound for pound. And the guy's just ripped, stacked, and just a bad, bad man. So there you go, Motley, if you watch this back later, or pump in the chat who you got picking. Vince's Fumble Fridays. We still have the same 4 left. I think it's myself, Freddie Quotes, Children of the Grave. So that's our football pool and VIR Rednecks. So we keep picking go I think we should go to the Vegas boys. One a week, awesome. Anyway. Yeah. And then what else?
Nice.
That's about it. What's good for your weekend, Big K? Are you hanging with a Hexican or two?
I am. I will be hanging with a Hexican or two. I'll be out. Freddie and Nardo and I and some other gentlemen will be out shooting some birds in the woods. Quail specifically.
Poor birds.
Yeah, you monsters.
I mean, they're probably most likely pen raised birds, so they were. This is
fucking defenseless.
No, they're not defenseless. They can fly.
Birds. Quails only.
They can fly away. They have wings. I don't have wings. So
they don't have shotguns either.
That's true. They do not have shotguns. That's true.
Oh,
Well, the thing about quails is this: is that like if it weren't for quail hunting and quail like farms for the most part, they like wouldn't exist. They would have been like just hunted out of into like basically complete extinction. There, so like this keeps a lively, delicious piece of the fowl hierarchy intact, and people still raise them and want them around, like spend lots of money to keep up quail farms, quail pen raised quail for hunting. So like, don't get me wrong, sad as it all may be, they exist specifically still for this reason. So hail the quail.
like cows.
Yeah. I mean, you ever read the book The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Where they go to the restaurant at the end of the universe. It's like the third book of the trilogy. There's a cow that's there. That the cow is bred specifically to want to kill himself for you, and like tells you all about his delicious marbling and how hard he's worked to fatten himself up, and how he just can't wait to just kick off and slit his own throat so he can have your delicious meal. It's a fantastic piece of literary genius. Douglas Adams, you're a madman. So anyways, that's what I imagine when I'm shooting at quail. It's like the military. They're just like, thank you, sir, may I have another?
Thank you for that thorough explanation. It was wonderful. Vince, what do you got going on this weekend?
I'm actually supposed to be having lunch with Brizology tomorrow, and our mutual friend Lewis. And then he's bringing a fourth person, and I think we're gonna onboard him to Hex. So yeah, gonna have a new Hexagon tomorrow probably.
Yeah, one's born.
Yep.
For the alchemist drinking, it's talked. So yeah. Ed, what you got going on this weekend?
I think tomorrow I'm hanging out with Joe Hexotic's friend, Hex Live, who I think he's been on one stream with Joe way back in the day. Otherwise, he's on Twitter, Hex_Live. I think me and him are going to the MGM Casino to have a couple drinks and talk about making a website for the Delegator.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hexy Bastard, what do you got going on this weekend, my friend?
Tomorrow I'm gonna go hang out with my little boy during the day. I got the open hangout tomorrow night, so I'll be streaming tomorrow night for that one. That'll be at 8 p.m. GMT, I think, maybe a little later. I'm not sure yet. So anyone's free to just come and join. If you troll me, you will get muted. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to the chat. We had one guy jump in like, "Hello, can I tell you a story about an investment I made or something?" It was just like some pre-recorded thing. It was quite funny. So he just got muted. But yeah, we're gonna do that, and then it's about it really. Just tomorrow night. I already know a couple of interesting guys who are going to be rejoining us from before. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m. GMT, we will be on my channel.
Excellent.
So yeah, that'll be it.
Good
What
stuff,
about you,
good stuff.
Cabana? What are you doing?
I don't know, man. I was
Does
going to
anyone
ask
normally
you.
ask you this?
No, they don't actually. But thank you. Actually, I am doing a little, I guess, housekeeping at a beach property, and then I am heading home to watch the fight tomorrow night and NFL Sunday, I guess. So I had plans. I was tied up. Unfortunately, I couldn't go on the Quail expedition with Big K and Freddie. I was going to do that, but I had my plans changed pretty much at the last minute, so I ended up coming down here and get some housekeeping done. But that's about it. Well, I wanted to ask you, are you a football fan?
What, like real football or your football?
Like English football?
Oh, I'm actually not really anymore, sadly, so I don't really fit in with the lads anymore.
All right. I was going to say, I'm watching
anyway.
I like Chelsea, so I'm going to watch the game tomorrow. I've been Chelsea fan for years and years.
An Arsenal fan, sadly.
Oh, okay. Battle of London.
Didn't
Gotcha.
experience too much success, but just to touch on your thing about the fight there, one of my favorite UFC fights of all time was Usman Covington 1. That was a fucking battle, mate. That was, and I love that they didn't wrestle at all. They just were like, yeah, boom, we're just gonna punch each other and kick each other. That is it.
That's what it's gonna be tomorrow night. Usman won by TKO last time, but we'll see. I
It was
think
close though. It was very close.
It was very close. It was 5 rounds, and I'd love to see Colby win. I
like Colby, man. I've got a soft spot for him. I know he's a lot of smoke and mirrors.
His Instagram is hilarious.
His joke, man. All them models that he
yes.
Just gets, like, hey, I'm just hanging out with loads of fit chicks. What are you doing, you virgin?
I'll go bet using this platform that I'm sponsored by.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's great, man. It's great.
All right, gents. Well, I think that's about it. Big K, we didn't do the show real quick, but where can we find you? Around the room real quick before we go.
Oh, you can find me at Big Krakowski on Twitter, on Telegram. You can find me in London in a few weeks. You can find me most of those spots, and here, and then probably in a couple weeks, taking bong rips on the Steak and Bake too. So.
Is that a bi-weekly event on Thursdays?
Yeah.
Yes,
I think
sir.
we're going to do it every other.
Yeah. Yep. Bi-weekly on Thursdays. Exactly.
Excellent. Vince, where can we find you?
Yes, CryptoVince369 on Twitter and Telegram, and on the Hex Asians show on Mondays and Thursdays. It's going to be 5 a.m. after we go back to standard time.
Oh, jeez, that's coming soon, right?
Yeah, this weekend.
So is that, I guess, 8 Eastern? Is that right?
Yeah, 8 Eastern. Yep.
Yeah.
DFed, where can we find you?
At David Feeder on Twitter, YouTube, and I'm on Telegram, but don't DM me. Yeah.
If you've seen the show, you know why. Yeah.
Yep. So, but yeah, I'll be posting more videos on YouTube soon. Once the testnet gets restarted, I'll post a video on that, and I'm going to resync my nodes, and I got to show off a hard drive, and I want to show people at home how to run their own node once we get closer. A lot of the stuff I want to do is literally useless until mainnet. So, we're just going to have to wait it out. But I'm at David Feeder on everything.
Gotcha. Hexy Bastard, where can we find you? Your YouTube channel and anywhere else? Are you on Telegram? Yes, you are, because I've been messaging.
Yes,
Twitter.
I am. Yeah, Twitter, everywhere. It's just at Hexy Bastard, and then you'll usually find me lurking in the Hex_UK chat, and then I've got my own Hex conspiracy page group on Telegram, which is just Hexspiracy. I know you got straight, but this is a bit of a smaller thing, and we're chatting away because most of my streams we end up just talking about conspiracies all the time, man. That's
great.
just where the conversation ends up going, because there's a lot going on in the world right now, which is shit. I'm sure you've heard about it. Wales Only's been trying to tell you all,
Hexspiracy, the group. Yes, I just found it. Wow, that's awesome, dude. I love conspiracies, man. I eat red pills for breakfast.
Yeah. Come join, man. Come join. Right. But yeah, very so cool. I'm gonna maybe I do like a little show about that or something as well, but I probably can't do it on YouTube because whoops. Lost your channel,
Do you back up all your videos on Odyssey?
No, I do not.
Randy Halarski, who's a well-known Hexagon, got me into that, and he was actually very kind enough. Shout out to Randy, gave me some library credits, but it's free. You go to odyssey.com, and if you got a YouTube channel, you can link it there for free. And it will post your videos on the blockchain for Odyssey as soon as you're done with YouTube automatically. Highly recommend it. Censorship proof. It's fantastic.
Sounds very good.
Odyssey.com.
I shall do that. Do that.
Is it misspelled though, right? Intentionally.
ODYSEE.com.
Okay.
Fucking hell, that is hard. What's that all about?
It's legit though. Like that can never be censored. So even if you get banned from YouTube, all your stuff will be there forever.
Well, the censorship police are all over the stuff that we like to talk about. So I have to be kind of careful. I mean, when I set up the Hex channel, it wasn't supposed to be like this. It just ended up being that way, But I guess that's what the crowd's into. So, I'm happy to oblige because I've done nothing really but look at conspiracy theories and stuff for the last 8 years before I found Hex anyway. So I got a lot of theories myself.
Welcome aboard. We all do. That's why we're here.
That's right. Last request from Sandy there, Vince. Joke off next week. I'm armed and ready. So, if you would like to show up to the fight, bring it.
All right, challenge accepted.
All right, there you go, Sandy. Yes, Odyssey is great stream. Thank you, appreciate that. Text Hex, Odyssey.com, library FTW. All right, more requests. See, see, Vince.
Gotta give the people what they want.
We want it. So let's bring it back. Called out. All right. Well, I just wanted to thank you, chat, for sticking around. Just awesome viewership and lively and fun comments. Thank you for all your questions. Big K, thank you. Crypto Vince, thank you. He-Fed, thank you. Hexy Bastard, thank you for your first time joining this wonderful show. Motley Investor also came in between airport flights. And thank you to who, David, from the highest of stakes?
Mr. Grant.
From the highest of stakes. Thanks all.
Hey, what a nice surprise, man. Thanks for having me,
that was too
Cabana.
cool.
It's been beautiful, mate.
And right before we go, Hexo is on tonight, right? In an hour and a half, I think. Did I see that right?
Yes, he is. He's got some kind of unusual pop-up stream going on, yeah.
There you go. So Hexo, I believe at 9:30. So I think it's YouTube channel Hex Family. So check that out. And that's it. We'll see you next week. Thank